Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge podcast. Here another week, and I've got allergies, so I sound weird. Today I've got with me Addy.
Hello.
He's on a bit of a delay, I guess.
Hey
And Pink,
there.
and I'm Alex. So today we've got some short topics to go over. Admittedly, because I got a fair bit to talk about this week in terms of what I've done. So the first topic is one that is inevitably going to be one that probably makes Pink angry. I'm going to take a guess. There are talks apparently that Jared Leto, Sony is working on a Morbius the Living Vampire movie starring Jared Leto as Morbius.
Like, can Jared Leto please stop being so newsworthy? Because I'm not sure anyone here likes him.
I think he's one of those cases where he's not made money at all for anybody, but Hollywood is still he's like a Brock Lesnar case. Where
Yeah.
he's been around for 20 years and people still think he's a new prospect, you know? Where
I
people
don't
still are like, "Oh, he's an investment for the future."
I don't think I've seen Jared Leto in anything.
Have you watched Suicide Squad?
No.
Um Oh, what's the one he made? The one that he starred in that was about heroin addiction, and it was the title was something Shakespeare. A Midsummer's Dream. I assume you didn't watch A Midsummer's Dream?
Nope.
Fuck. Alexander the Great biopic.
Nope.
Dallas Buyers Club, the movie about the guy with cancer selling drugs to pay for his cancer treatment. Matthew
Nope.
McConaughey. Yeah, I'm good. I'm sure Jared Leto has more. Wait, have you watched American Psycho? Christian Bale plays a rich serial killer.
I don't think I have.
Fight Club?
Nope.
Fuck. Oh, I think I've run out of Jared Leto movies. Or at least major ones. Okay, wait. You love stupid edgelord rock. You've probably listened to his band.
What's it called?
30 minutes.
30 seconds to Mars.
30 seconds to Mars, yes.
I hate 30 seconds to Mark so much.
30 seconds to Marks. That's a little bit different.
Yeah. That's the that's the Undertaker's band.
37 to... No.
It takes The Undertaker far longer than 30 seconds to do anything. Come on now, Addy.
Why do you hear Marx and think Undertaker? I was thinking Karl Marx. I was like, 30 seconds to communism. Yay.
I was thinking I need to tie this somehow to wrestling, and Undertaker seems to be like the only guy I know of right now that would be in a freaking metal band.
Why would you need to tie it to wrestling? And fuck no, Undertaker would not be
Because
in a
Marks.
I thought you were trying to base it off of the fact that Undertaker's real name is Mark Calloway.
That was a thing as well.
Oh geez, look at this wrestling smark over here who's happy that he knows the wrestlers' real names. You're that guy that walks up to Big Show or Triple H in real life and calls them Paul, and then they don't acknowledge you. That's my...
You see, this is where you're wrong. This is where you're wrong. I don't walk up to Big Show or Triple H because they're never here. They've been here once, and I think actually it was only like Sheamus that was here.
Because Sheamus
So
is
you
only
know.
allowed to stay in America for so long. Before he had...
He needs to recharge. He needs to recharge his skin so it stays as white.
Yeah.
And only European air is good for that.
Only European air can make you whiter.
Makes sense.
I don't know what the implication of that is, but that's probably not good. Right, so back on the topic. Morbius the Living Vampire, of all the fucking Sony projects they're thinking, I feel like this one is the one that's stretching the hardest. Because, like, a Venom movie, I can see it. Black Cat, no, not really, but the fact that she's tied her with Silver Sable, it's like, maybe those two put together can make something. But Morbius, the living fucking vampire?
Wasn't he in Maximum Carnage as well?
I think he would have been. Yeah, he would have been one of the guys Spider-Man recruited to help him.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're setting up Maximum Carnage the movie.
They can't be because they don't have Spider-Man. Marvel won't let them use Spider-Man.
They'll figure out a way.
Yeah,
Instead, they'll replace Spider-Man with Man-Spider.
shut up.
Man Spider.
At this rate, they're going to give Man-Spider a movie just because Sony wants to make a Sony cinematic universe without actually having to work anything out with Marvel.
It's like they pulled out Morbius, who's like probably the most obscure franchise they could have pulled out of there.
I think they're more obscure. They could have pulled out Prowler if Marvel hadn't done it first.
I would argue that Prowler has more relevance now than Morbius ever had.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. Because I mean, Morbius was definitely a product of the 90s, and most of Morbius' story that I've seen can be summed up as he's a vampire, he hates it, he likes his girlfriend, Spider-Man doesn't know what to feel about him, Blade wants to kill him. That's about it. And I mean, I said you'd be angry about Jared Leto being cast as him, but it occurs to me now, would you even really care enough about Morbius the Living Vampire to give a shit? Because I really don't.
Yep, that was my feelings as well.
The best part of this project is the idea that if Jared Leto gets pulled over to play Morbius, then that might mean he'd be done as Joker. Unless he'd be the one guy who's simultaneously working on Marvel and DC projects, in which case, how the fuck would Jared Leto? How are we cursed to have Jared Leto be the only guy who can work on Marvel and DC at the same time? Also, this fucking picture of Jared Leto we got right in front of us, he's deliberately trying to look like Jesus Christ, I swear.
I was thinking the same thing just before he said that. It's like, he's looking a lot like Jesus over there.
Like,
but does he have AoEs?
Shut up, Eddie. A wider Jesus. Now, I could have said white as in the color or wide as in big, but either way. It does. I feel like it just raises the question too much though of if Sony is pushing forward with a Sony cinematic universe, and they have 3 projects already down the pipe. Then, in which case, if this Morbius thing gets greenlit, they're going to want more than 3 projects. If they're wanting to compete with Marvel, they're going to need a lot. And this begs the question of how many Spider-Man characters are they going to fucking make?
They've got a bunch of nerds in the back flipping through Spider-Man comics trying to figure out who all appeared and that they can use in the history of ever.
The Spot? Give him a movie! Oh, man. I don't even know what... Oh, God.
They're gonna give that freaking what's her face, the punk chick that Carnage did at that one time in Maximum Carnage or whatever it was. They're gonna give her own movie.
I don't think they will.
I mean, at this point, they're gonna run out of people actually know. They need to use people like that. I think her name was something like Renegade or something.
The key phrase there is people I know, Addy. Like, I don't know. So, there's not really much for us to say about that. About the idea of Leto as Morbius. How much experience do any of us even have with Morbius? Because I, saw a little bit... I'm aware that he's a character, and I saw a little bit of him in the old 90s cartoon, but that's about my extent with seeing Morbius.
Yep. That's probably about everyone's extent as well.
I'm sure that whoever created him is real proud of him. Patting themselves on the back for the originality of making a tragic vampire, because that's not a character that's been done a million times before. So we should go ahead and move on to the next topic because that's already running out of steam. The Department of Justice has signed off on Disney's plans to pick up 21st Century Fox, which means we're technically one step closer to the prospect of Disney owning Fox. With that said, last I heard, I'm not like a business expert or anything, and I don't know if you guys are business experts to help me here, but to my understanding, this does still mean Comcast could sweep it out from underneath Disney.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm no expert either, but let's see.
But this is a very significant hurdle out of the way because there's been a lot of popular support saying like saying that the government should step in and that this deal shouldn't happen and that it would cause a monopoly in the entertainment industry. And the fact that this is out of the way could mean Disney might have got it.
Yep. It's like, never would I have ever imagined myself rooting so hard for Disney to own something, but here we are.
You know, at this point, I almost give up on the market. You know, why not? Turn it all into a big fucking monopoly. I'm moving to New Zealand. So,
You miss sheep.
What?
You miss sheep. Let's move on.
Addie's having one of those days, isn't he? Oh my god. So, and the thing I should note here is it's got a big picture of just Walt Disney Pictures logo with the little castle and the little. Is that a sunrise that's supposed to be coming over? It never occurred to me that it don't.
I think it's the trail of a star.
That's what it was, right? I haven't watched a proper Disney movie in a while. Or at least
That is clearly a roller coaster, guys. Come on now.
It is supposed to be the Cinderella Castle from the Disney World, so hey.
Oh, yeah, it could be then.
Admittedly, I've only been to one Disney World, and there wasn't a roller coaster right behind Cinderella's castle, but, I mean, who knows what goes on in, say, California or some shit. California's a crazy land.
Everything's legal over there.
Yeah.
It's like they've got a roller coaster going through the hotel.
The Walt Disney logo made out of roller coasters.
California is just one big roller coaster.
That is correct. Very correct. I've not been there, but I've seen a lot of people who get off that ride and get pretty sick pretty quickly. So, I mean, we've talked before about the Walt Disney Fox merger and the prospect of it, and how most were excited for the idea of it because Fox's management of the X-Men franchise has produced like 2 good movies and a whole load of shit ones.
Yep.
And we've talked before about how, you know, we're iffy on whether or not the canon should be merged.
How it should be merged, you kind of cut out there for me.
Oh, we've talked before on one of the podcasts about how whether or not we think the canon should be merged, whether or not those movies should be made canon or non-canon. I don't think we really reached a consensus. We just said what happens, happens. For me, at this point, like, on one hand, I want the canons to be merged because it wouldn't feel right to bring the X-Men into the MCU and have them all be absurdly young. On the other hand, I feel like they would have to reset the canon, firstly because the old canon, the Fox X-Men canon, has so many issues.
Yeah.
And secondly, because it would also feel weird for them to bring the X-Men into the MCU without really explanation.
And, yeah. And if they brought it into the MCU and it is canon, it's like you're bringing in all the X-Men, including Hugh Jackman's run, and that's canon. You're not going to use Hugh Jackman anymore. So right off the bat, you've got a lot of monkey wrenches thrown in.
Yeah. And they'd have to deal with the issue, inevitably, of Olivia Munn as Psylocke.
New canon. Just scrap everything.
Disney buys Fox's archives and just torches all the footage of X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes. It's best for business.
They also torch Fox while there.
Hey, no, there's some other good stuff to save. Simpsons.
I don't know.
Hey, look, they
There are
got
charts that tell you when Simpsons started to be terrible. So
yeah. Look, at least cart out the archives for Simpsons, okay, before you torch it from the good old days. Everything past like season 11 just torch, but no, take out the first 10 seasons. So that's that, and we're quickly running out of these topics. This entire news week, I was like, "Fuck, there is nothing to talk about."
yeah, it's like I saw like when the little Twitter thing popped up about the Jared Leto being Morbius. I was like, oh, I know we're gonna be talking about that, but I just don't think we're gonna get much out of it.
Hell no, we ain't.
Here's another topic. The next one is not that doesn't run that long.
Shut up!
What?
Shut up! They did not.
That's actually Def Jam.
That's
So-
actually the Def Jam Twitter.
Yes, I do think so.
Oh, dude, if they brought back Def Jam and they made it a wrestling game again instead of a stupid boxing game or a music game, like, dude,
Just they Def Jam fight for New York. Put in new stages and new characters, and that's it.
Vendetta,
have a game.
Vendetta or Fight for New York, either one would be great.
I like the mixed thing of being a wrestler on the streets with when it's freaking Fight for New York more. But I think that's just the thing with preference.
I've not got to play Fight for New York because it's an absurdly rare game. Like, most of the mom and pop shops around here that specialize in getting rare old games charge like $40 for a copy of Fight for New York.
I have it right next to me.
Oh, what the fuck? Now, if that ain't a cosmic if that ain't irony, I swear.
It was the first game I bought for my PS2. It was $10.
Ha!
It was sold in a supermarket.
It's like all of the copies just made their way over to Hungary.
Yeah.
The birthplace of hardcore hip hop, Hungary. Did you know Snoop Dogg is secretly Hungarian?
I thought everyone knew.
Isn't the final boss of Fight for New York just Snoop Dogg?
Yes, it is just Snoop Dogg, though he's called Crow.
Right.
Which, by the way, I'm waiting for him to actually take that name off, because at this point he might as well call himself just Zoo. Snoop Zoo.
Snoop. It's his final form. It's his most powerful form. Snoop Zoo. And he like gets to switch forms, like it's a style switcher. He fights like
Yeah.
he fights like Lei Wulong in Tekken, right? Where he's got the different animal styles.
Yeah.
Oh,
And in the back, whenever you change styles, the music style changes as well. So if you fight in the lion style, he just turns into reggae and things.
that would be awesome. I'm not joking. That would be fucking awesome. Having an actual stance. Like, I'm not much for stance switch characters in fighting games, but having a stance switch character that changing the stance changes the background music to fit it would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, but the only music this works with is freaking Knock 'Em Down.
There's all kinds of great songs from the old Def Jam soundtracks.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Def Jam soundtrack. I'm talking about the freaking Tekken Tag 2 soundtrack. Did you not hear Knock 'Em Down?
I remember that. Yes, I do remember the Snoop Dogg stage in Tekken Tag 2. Please tell me when you two recorded Tekken Tag 2, that was the only stage you fought on?
It
I
wasn't the
wish.
only stage. We didn't even record it. That still needs to be
Did
recorded.
record it?
Oh my god, I
I
deleted the
could
game.
have sworn we had recorded that.
I deleted the game off my hard drive because I thought you guys had already recorded it without me.
No, I told you. We just played the game because I wanted Pink to know what he's doing.
Okay. Yes, we gotta get that, and we gotta get Street Fighter 4 back in.
Yep.
We did record Street Fighter 4 once, but the recording like botched itself.
Yeah,
The recording died.
it got sick of our terrible Street Fighter playing, so it just killed itself.
It's like, no, you're not putting this up. Try again.
It was horrified with the content it was formed of, and it just took a gun and put it to its mouth. Right? Fuck, man. If Def Jam came back, that would be amazing. It's the fact that it's Vendetta is the cover they chose that makes me happy. Because it's like, it's emphasizing specifically, like, what if we brought back the classic style, the classic games? Because those last couple Def Jams were not great.
The only one after Fight for New York was freaking Icon, I think.
There was the boxing one, and there was one that was actually about music. I remember there being those two. Where you actually it was pretty much just Rock Band, but with rap, and it was crap.
I think I remember that. It was something like Def Jam Rap Star or something.
I think it was something like that, yeah. My thing about bringing back Def Jam nowadays would be the roster. Like, would they still make it like the classic late 90s, early 2000s rappers, or would it be like modern guys? Because I wouldn't want to play as any of the modern fools.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe DJ Khaled, because even though he's an asshole, he does look cool. But other than that, like, I would absolutely not want to play fucking Justin Bieber, you know?
Why would you want to play freaking Drake? Drake would be another stand-switching character. If he's in R&B mode, he heals himself, and if he's in gangster rap mode, he actually attacks.
Like, you're now turning Def Jam from a wrestling game into a fighting game somehow, and I don't know if it's better or worse. Like, we went from WWE with rap to Street Fighter with rap. Which should still be a thing that exists, but you know. Like, yeah.
I mean, they can make it a mix of both because it was always running on the AKI engine, I think.
Yeah, they definitely could. Wasn't it just made by AKI?
Yeah, it was.
Right.
I think so.
Right, damn. But if they do make a new game and it doesn't come with most of Wu-Tang on it, I'd be beyond disappointed.
I made Ghostface, so I'd be too.
I'd love for them to bring back DMX, even though DMX is in prison right now, I think.
Yeah, I think he committed tax fraud.
Yeah, tax fraud. I think it's like the second time he's done it. Which is...
X
people...
didn't give it to him.
No, X withheld it. X withheld it for them.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, people are posting under the tweet that they want DMX on the cover. Somebody also said that they want DMX to give it to them personally, so he can deliver his promise.
I was about to say, like, I also want Snoop Dogg and Danny Trejo to come back from Fight for New York. And it just dawned on me, they should just make fucking Def Jam Ultimate.
Yeah.
Bring back all of them. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, also freaking do what WWE can't make freaking like 5-man or 10-man tag team matches.
Pink, I need to go grab a box of tissues because my allergies are going crazy. Can you talk about whether or not you've played Def Jam or whether you've had any interest in the series?
I can.
Pink, do you know what Def Jam is?
I have a faint idea of what Def Jam is. I think I've seen some gameplay on YouTube. I've never actually played the game myself, but I have been interested because, you know, a bunch of rappers beating up on each other. It sounds like a good time.
I played through Fight for New York twice. So the best I can describe it to you, the gameplay, is it's a mix of, say, like No Mercy. It's a mix of No Mercy and the, like, I want to say somewhere around the earlier SVR games.
Yeah. Because, you know, I did see the thing is like a wrestling game, which kind of confused me. Because, you know, I wouldn't think wrestling when I see the words Def Jam, but I'm not sure what I would think when I see the words Def Jam. But the gameplay that I did see, it's just a wrestling game with, you know, musical artists and whatnot.
Yeah.
So. I don't think I have much to say because, you know, I haven't played it. I have been interested in it though. I'd look forward to a return personally.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I didn't necessarily like about Fight for New York is that Eminem wasn't in it, and I liked Eminem back then. So, but yeah, it even had a story, which was weird. And
Well, I'd
yeah,
imagine it would have to be weird. It's like,
I mean, it actually wasn't that weird of a story. It's just,
I just don't see
it's
how a
just.
game like that could make any sense.
I mean, they just took the actual rappers and then gave them characters, aside from being that rapper.
Fight for New York was supposed to have an excellent story, from what I heard.
It was
Vendetta.
good. Yeah.
Vendetta was a little bit different. Vendetta was pretty simple. Hey, you're a young upstart. You want to beat up the big guy who's rich and become rich. Now's it. Wasn't it?
The classic kung fu story.
Who's the final boss of Vendetta? I'm trying to remember his
No
name.
idea.
It was the big dude in the suit, and he was on the front cover.
D-Mob?
D-Mob, yes, D-Mob. And D-Mob was voiced by somebody who was on a popular TV show at the time. I forget.
I don't remember who D-Mob was because I couldn't read his logo name. Because yeah, a problem with the game was Pink. Everybody had that actual name with their in their logo. It never said anywhere who you were. Aside from that. So if you had like freaking death metal logos, then you got death metal logos, and nobody could tell who you were unless they knew you.
Oh man, Fight for New York didn't just have rappers. Like I mentioned Danny Trejo, but it had Henry Rollins too, didn't it?
Yup, Henry Rollins was the trainer.
Right. I forgot about that.
I would welcome him back, were he to come back with the next game.
Yeah, bring them all back. Like I said, Def Jam Ultimate. Do it.
Yeah.
Where's AKI now? Are they defunct?
I think they're dead, but let me check.
Are all the developers dead of old age? Did they turn into mummies and go into the Egyptian pyramids?
Now we know what those are built for.
No, they renamed themselves, but they might be still running.
Also, Addy, you... Hang on, let me see. No, it was a problem on my end. Anyways, keep going. Where's AKI?
Yes, so AKI now is known as Sin Sophia.
I feel like I've heard that name before. What have they worked on in like the last 10 years?
In the last 10 years, in Style Savvy for Nintendo DS, Cross Treasures Nintendo DS, Gambaru Watashi no Osaifu Guendan, I think, Nintendo DSi, Kuryo Ryu ga Goto Shinso, PlayStation Portable, Predatorium Miniskirt, Predatorium Aurora Dream.
American section for this? Because I doubt any of us would know what that is, or what any of those are.
Well, basically, they've been working on Japanese bullshit and arcade games.
Yeah, it sounds like they've become one of Nintendo's pet developers.
Yeah, they mainly made games for the Nintendo DSs, for Android. They made a couple of arcade games, and from what I can tell, 2 PSP games.
That doesn't surprise me, because it's like their big breakthrough was the wrestling engine that they made, and after that, after they didn't have the licenses to wrestling games anymore, I don't see where else they would have gone.
But yeah, aside from that, that's about it. The last game they released was for the Nintendo 3DS called Style Savvy Styling Star. That was in 2017. So technically, AKI could still work on Def Jam.
Technically, they're still alive, and I don't honestly see the Def Jam people seeking them out for the next Def Jam game.
Hell no. You know what my thing here is that just dawned on me? If they make another Def Jam, and if they did fill it with like classic rappers, we'd end up in a scenario where there'd be a lot of young people being like, who are these old goobers?
Yeah.
There are no fresh memes in this game. What's going on?
You said rappers. Who are these guys? These guys aren't rappers. These guys are guys from kids' movies. Ice Cube.
Yeah, but
Ice Cube. How many movies has Ice Cube done for Disney? He ain't no rapper.
Though for one, if they would do a mix of both, I wouldn't mind beating freaking Lil Uzi Vert up with Snoop Dogg.
The issue with them introducing a bunch of the new guys is that you wouldn't be able to tell any of them apart.
That's true.
Because they're all covered in the fucking Xanax face tattoos for some fucking reason.
No, all of them are just replaced by a gigantic ass bottle of Xanax.
A giant bottle of Xanax fighting Snoop Dogg in the ring.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg goes for the splash off the top rope onto the bottle of Xanax.
I think his finish was like a capoeira kick or something.
You weren't allowed to have top rope finishes in that game, right? Everyone had
No,
standing finishers?
Yeah, everybody had standing finishers.
That makes sense. Because it does make it a little bit complicated for casuals when they do the crazy shit in the modern wrestling games. Like, God forbid you get one of the characters with the really weirdo finishes. Like, oh, he has to be seated in the corner. What?
Yeah.
On the other side of the ropes, but still on the ropes.
Needs to be wearing a blue shirt.
Yep, yeah. Oh, man. Wrestling is dumb.
But yeah, Def Jam posted this. Well, I think that's 11 p.m. my time, so. But yeah,
And
yesterday. Basically yesterday.
Del Rio had that stupid, like, Tree of Woe stomp as his finish in one of these games. That must have thrown a lot of people off.
Oh my god. Would that even have been a game where the Tree of Woe was a finisher position option?
No, they had to add it in. Either that or it's just a corner finish.
Ooh, that might have been the game where they added the Tree of Woe as a finisher position.
Yep.
Because nowadays they go crazy.
Like, the more wrestling has evolved, it's like back in the old days you could do a finish like in front, behind, diving, or maybe in a corner. Then you had the finishes that you could do on the ground. And now we've come to a point where you can do finishes by springboarding off the ropes, doing the Tree of Woe positions, doing like a seated in the corner position, standing on an announce table position.
That is the greatest encouragement I have ever heard to buy more recent WWE games. Because I firmly remember, like, WWE 13, they released the Chris Jericho DLC, and he got the Lion Salt as a signature move for the first time, and he couldn't do it as a springboard. He had to do it as a grounded move for some fucking reason.
I think that's still a thing.
That is still a thing.
That is still a thing, but you don't have to do it in that way anymore. You can you can have them actually do it as a springboard now. Which, that is the way it should be. There should be more moveset options, always. Because the wrestling games aren't really games at this point. You build a doll and then you give the doll moves. That's what the wrestling games are nowadays. Make your fucking
No,
doll.
you mean you give the doll animations.
Yes. And like,
there might even be a like finishing move where the opponent has to be kneeling for you to execute it. I know, like, Callisto has like a Hurricane Rana pile driver.
Oh.
Or not Hurricane Rana pile driver. There's nothing pile drivey about it. But the Hurricane Rana driver.
So a Frankensteiner?
Yeah.
They never clarified really the difference.
A kneeling opponent that drives their face into the mat.
I think the difference between the Frankenstein and the Hurricane Rana is that in the Hurricane Rana, your thighs are touching the enemy. In the Frankenstein, it's like your feet.
That may be it, because Hurricane Rana Frankensteiner was one of those moves that I never figured out the difference. Like, I still don't know the difference between a clothesline and a lariat, other than I think the clothesline you hit the chest and lariat you hit the neck.
I honestly don't think there's a difference. It's just on what the announcer says.
There is, because it's one of the big asshole wrestling nerd things, is to say, oh, I bet you don't even know what the difference between a lariat and a clothesline. I definitely remember. I remember at some point Ted getting angry that a move was called a lariat when it was very clearly a clothesline to him. I remember him getting angry over that. So
I mean, whenever people bring it up, you can just tell them to list you all of the types of Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yeah. Oh man, wrestling is stupid.
The freaking my least favorite one is that I think it was in No Mercy and also in one of the SVR games that was just called Red, White, and Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was just a blue thunder bomb, but it was the one that Jack Swagger had because it was supposed to go with his All-American gimmick.
Yes.
Which I never got why it was
And-
the all. Well, I guess back in the day it was the All-American gimmick because he won All-American in wrestling or something. But it
The,
just
the
seemed,
thing that the thing that I don't understand is that they had two blue thunder bombs at one point. They had the red, white, and blue. They had the normal one, and then they had like 15 different combinations on it.
the red, white, and blue back in the day would have just been that really piss poor animation where it isn't really a bomb. He just picks the guy up for the blue thunder bomb and then just kind of drops them. And
Yeah.
the main thing that bothered me about the animation is he doesn't drop the guy on his shoulders like you're supposed to for a power bomb. He usually dropped the guy on his ass. I could talk for days about shitty old wrestling animations that I'm glad are replaced now.
Yep.
Like, good lordy, can we talk about the old Rock clothesline animation?
The one that went on for 5 ages.
Yes. Where Rock dodges the lariat, does the whole taunt, then does his own lariat, and for some reason the guy does 30 million backflips through the air, and is like in a fighting game that will be a launcher where you should do combos off of it. You know?
This reminds me, we somehow need to wait. We somehow need to play freaking All Stars together, even though the servers have been down for the past 12 years.
Yeah, even if THQ had been good about keeping up the servers, they wouldn't be now on account of being fucking dead. All Star seems like one of those games that's gonna build up a reputation as a cult classic, and they'll redistribute it in 20 years. Whoever has the license.
That'd be amusing to see.
Hey, I thought it was good.
Especially since it has Hulk Hogan, I think.
Yeah.
It's got a ton of like characters that you wouldn't understand them being in that game for, because like it had like Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston,
And-
I get. Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, but back in like 2010 or whenever it launched, those guys were supposed to be the upcoming talents, the guys that were going to carry the main event into the future.
Didn't
Fast
it
forward
also
to now, Drew McIntyre is just coming back after having been fired once, and Kofi's just kind of stagnating in New Day.
Right, even though that Kofi's stagnating, though, he's still going to end up being a legend in the same way as, like, I don't know, Honky Tonk Man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was probably in that game as well.
Honky Tonk Man was in that game. I remember that. He was the first.
So was Jimmy Snuka, I think.
Yeah, so was Jimmy Snuka. And Jimmy Snuka is a bigger problem than Hulk Hogan. Because Snuka, it actually turned out, like, the court case did actually reach, like, he totally murdered his girlfriend. Right?
Hooker killer, yes.
Was it a hook? I thought it was just his girlfriend, not a hooker.
No idea.
I don't think it was a hooker.
Yeah, I don't believe it was a hooker, but it was his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, and it
Did that case ever like actually finish?
Yes, I believe it did finish, and I believe they did determine that he killed her, but it also had passed the statute of limitations. No, there is no statute of limitations for murder. Shit, I don't
I
know
should
if it
hope not.
I
I think
I'm so
I
used to hearing.
feel
think
like
it was-
Snuka died before it ever came to a conclusion.
yeah, I wanted to say I think they found out that he actually did it after he died, like a couple of weeks after.
Okay, my mind for a second took me a second. I thought you were saying he killed her after he died, and I was like, what the fuck? His spirit broke
I
the
mean-
laws of quantum physics and went back in time to murder his girlfriend. Jimmy Snuka
The
at the
ghost of Snuka went back in time and framed the Snuka
Frame
himself.
himself. Yeah.
Man, the real Jimmy Snuka at the time must have been pissed that his ghost future self killed his girlfriend. What kind of fucking narrative are we building here?
The best one.
Oh.
Then after freaking
And,
killing her. Then after killing her, Matt Hardy ate his soul.
and it's all in light of someone's murder. Oh man, what the fuck were we talking about?
Death Jam.
Right. So, who would you like to see on the cover?
I mean, I actually wouldn't mind DMX.
Oh man, could you imagine? He's in prison and they sell a fucking game with his face on the cover.
But I'm not sure who could be like. I don't know if they will go with the new rappers or they would go with the old school ones. So like I'm thinking who could be able to sell to both people who like new rappers or and the people who like the old ones. And it's like maybe Snoop Dogg,
Uh,
but like
in terms of old rappers that are still going today, I think there's Snoop, there's Eminem, and there's Jay-Z, but that's about all I can think of.
Yeah,
And I mean,
Snoop was my only real pick there.
yeah, unless they put freaking his vodka
they
like
they can't.
vodka bottles in the back, then I don't think Jay-Z would be on cover.
I don't
I
think
feel
they
like
could
Snoop
put.
is kind of in a spot where he's transcendent of what he's been doing in the past, because he's a rapper, but he's also an actor. He's also everything else underneath the sun. Kind of a situation like The Rock there.
He's also a walking
Probably
joint.
everybody knows Snoop Dogg, even if they never listen to his music at all.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think Snoop's probably the most marketable face out of all those. Because I mean, Jay-Z, I don't listen to his rap. I don't know if it's any good or anything, or if he's any worth of it. But the main thing about Jay-Z is, God bless the bastard, he's one of the ugliest fuckers on the earth. So I don't think
Wasn't he?
I don't think they'll be putting his ugly mug on the front cover anytime soon.
Wasn't Jay-Z the guy who did 1 minute man with like Missy Elliott or someone?
I have no idea what you're talking about. The main thing
I
I
think
remember
that-
Jay-Z for is he's ugly and he's married to Beyonce. That's all I remember.
That's the only reason I know not Beyonce, Jay-Z. I honestly didn't even know he did music.
They merged
What
as
is
a
that?
person for you there for a second.
Yeah.
Their combined form, Bay-Z.
Crazy. Yeah.
Beyond Jay.
God.
What was I going to say? Right, I don't think Jay-Z did any music since, like, freaking
Marrying Beyonce because she's
no, since
pulling all their
since
weight.
the earthquake, since the earthquake hit like Africa or something.
Haiti.
Haiti, right?
Haiti is in the Caribbean, Addy.
I don't remember if it was Haiti or Africa because I remember that the original We Are the World was for Africa, and then the one that Jay-Z might have been in, I'm not sure. Wait, I'm mixing it up. Because-
Africa's a continent, Addy.
Yes,
an
I
enti-
know.
If an entire continent got hit by an earthquake, that would mean the world would split in half.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm
We'd be
mixing it up
floating
even more because
We'd be
The-
floating in space.
I'm mixing it up even more because neither of the We Are the World. He was neither of them. He was in the freaking song made for the Hands Up movement or whatever it was called, where they protested because the white cop shot the black kid.
Yes, that whole string of things back in the day. Well, I say
Yeah,
back in the
I
day,
think-
but it was 2 years ago, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last I know of that was his last musical thing.
There is so much political goings on nowadays that something like that seems ancient.
Absolutely.
It's fucking weird. It's our generation is never going to understand how the past generations worked because they dealt with this kind of thing on a yearly basis. We deal with it like fucking monthly or weekly. There's always some shit on the news about, oh, the president did this, oh, cops did this, oh, this crime happened, oh, there was this natural disaster. What the fuck? No wonder this generation thinks the world's ending. 24-hour news cycle, ladies and gentlemen. There's your
But
political
yeah.
rant for the day.
I do believe he was in a song protesting that. Last I heard of him. Not sure if he made
song
anything after that.
protesting death?
No, a song protesting the death of a black child. Yes.
Uh,
A song protesting death. The music video is him calling out the Grim Reaper for a boxing match.
No, the
There's our plot for Def Jam.
Oh my god, yes.
and that's his just like in freaking what was it called? Buddy, I don't remember. Whatever. There was this movie where freaking Six String Samurai. That was it. Yeah, just like in Six String Samurai, that's will be represented by Slash.
They should put the Grim Reaper in those games as the final boss and just give him Undertaker's moveset. Don't officially acknowledge it, just slyly do it. without saying anything. That would be amazing. Okay, I feel like we should move off this topic, because, oh my god, like, we went through those first two topics and got, like, barely 10 minutes. Then Def Jam came up and it's like, 35 minutes, holy shit. Now we gotta hit that last topic, because we've all done things this past week. I hope. I've done things.
Yeah. For the most part, I've done things.
I have actually studied this last week, yes.
Hang on, I need to, like, write down the time frame of what you... Oh my god, I forgot to write down the time frame of when you brought up the Def Jam picture, so now that's going to be a pain in the ass in editing. Wonderful. So the last topic, the one I was actually meaning to be the third, but now it's the fourth, was, before Addie brought up that wonderful thing, is Google, there's rumors from sources at Kotaku, which, as with anything with Kotaku, take with a grain of salt, and as with anything that says rumors, take it with a grain of salt, and as with anything that says, according to our sources, take it with a grain of salt. So basically this
According to Salt.
According to Salt, yes, there is, Google might be planning to make a fourth big game platform to take on Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. Which I think would actually make sense, because they already got into the phone game. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, I see this and I'm not too surprised. I think this is as I stumble over everything I try to say, I believe that this is a inevitability.
Yeah.
Google may not make a system now, or maybe even 5 years down the line, but at some point, before the world ends, soon hopefully, Google will make a console. They'll probably try to get it out sooner, though, to capitalize on Fortnite.
Well, there'll be another craze following Fortnite, I assure you.
It's like they're working right now to get exclusive rights to Fortnite Part 2.
Ah. Oh my god. Did you hear about that thing where Sony's made it where if you log into Fortnite on your PS4, then your account will be locked to your PS4 Fortnite forever?
I did hear about that.
Yeah, if you make an account on PC or Xbox and get like a ton of shit for your Fortnite account, ordinarily you should be able to switch between them. But if you log into Fortnite on PS4, it gets locked to fucking PS4 and you can never play it on PC or Xbox ever again. So
Yep.
don't log in on your account when you go over to somebody's house.
They don't want share play, and they don't want you accessing your account on any other system at all.
No, the fuck.
Like, no, you're on PlayStation now. Deal with it, sucker.
I saw someone mention like, the video game industry feels like an industry based on failure sometimes. Because someone pointed out like there's a cycle there. Like if we go back to the beginning of the current era of like video game consoles, like let's go back to the N64 era. This is the 8th generation, right?
I do think so.
Right.
I'm not sure.
So the 5th generation, everybody would have been on Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo was still king. PlayStation introduced the PlayStation 1, but everyone would have been on N64. Then the 6th generation, everyone switched to PS2 because Nintendo fumbled the ball with the GameCube, which was bizarre and awkward in several ways. And then Sony fumbled the ball by waiting a little bit too long for the PS3, by making the PS3 clunky as fuck when it came out, and making the whole UI very awkward, so everyone switched to Xbox 360. And then this generation, Microsoft fumbled the ball, so everyone switched back to PS4 because of Xbox One's weird, draconian bullshit policies. And by the end of this generation, Sony is going to seriously fumble the ball, and Nintendo or Microsoft is going to pick it up again.
We're all going back to Nintendo. Bye, guys.
Hey, the Switch is doing well for itself. I'm not fucking joking.
It is. It's astonishing the turnaround they've made since the Wii U to the Switch. It's like, I need to give them a congratulatory applause for that, because I thought they were dead for good. It's like, obviously they won't be dying because it's Nintendo and they're immortal.
Yeah, they got Mario money.
I thought they were just going to barely chug along with this generation, but no.
I would think that introducing two consoles in one generation would be an awful idea, but apparently it ain't. Though
Like, well, that first console really failed us, so let's make something better and actually have it sell well this time. And
yeah,
somehow they achieved that.
I feel like I'd have a question there of how much did it help them that the Switch came out in the middle of the generation? How much did it help them that it came after the initial craze of the PS4 and Xbox One's release and gave people enough time to gather up more money?
Oh yeah,
So that by the time most people will be like, well, I've already got the PS4, I guess I'll pick up the Xbox One, or I've already got the Xbox One, I guess I'll pick up the PS4.
yeah,
That's when the Switch came out, and the Switch was like, hey, we're going to have an entirely unique library of first-party games that neither of the other consoles will have.
yeah. That was a big part of it because at the beginning of the console life cycle we have going now, it's like you've only got a set amount of money. Do you want a PS4 or do you want an Xbox One? So everybody made their choices back then, but fast forward those 2 or 3 years or so, and now the Switch, it's just a novelty buy. You're not making a decision between the two big consoles that everyone else is making a decision between. It's the, hey, I've got spare cash. I like Nintendo. I enjoy their games. I'm going to buy a Switch just because I can. There's no real stake in that because, it's a novelty buy.
Exactly, like the Switch is the go-to second console. Because if you have the money together to buy a second console, if you already have a PS4, then why buy an Xbox One? They already pretty much have the same game library. And same
Exactly.
vice versa. Whereas Nintendo has their shitload of exclusives. So if you gather together the money to get a second console, get a Nintendo.
And then they've also got they've had a very steady release of reportedly very good games because they had Breath of the Wild, which was the highest rated game ever. It's like everybody loved it. And then they've got all that Splatoon and the Mario Aces now, and everything on the Switch is now also going online. So you've got an entire Nintendo community over there.
Oh.
They're just doing very good business. I'm really surprised by them.
I'm curious, have we gotten any online Mario games yet, other than Mario Maker, which wouldn't really count?
Mario Tennis.
We have, right, and Mario Kart is online as well, and it's got a thriving online community.
Yep.
People love Mario Kart online. Shit.
And Smash Brothers, it's coming out in December, so everyone that doesn't have a Switch now needs to go out and get a Switch.
Yeah, and Smash Ultimate, that is a game that is going to have a thriving multiplayer community for decades.
Yeah.
Considering how strong the Melee community is still going, if this is going to be the last Smash, truly, then they could keep the servers running as long as they wanted, and people would still be playing the damn game. But going back to a Google console, what I was leading into there was, what niche would this fill? Because we've already got Sony and Microsoft competing for the big two, top of the line, absolute, super duper HD, 4K, whatever. Your big...
The official Ouya niche.
Shut up, Addy. The console... So, you've got them competing for being practically PC rigs console. And you've got Nintendo kind of filling that old style, hey, get the console, play your fun games. Your kid can play some games, and you can play some games, and whatever. So I feel how would they fit into this paradigm? I could see them maybe fitting in if Microsoft pulled out, but it doesn't look like Microsoft's going to pull out now. Because at E3, they revealed a shit ton of games, so they're not pulling out like we thought they would.
Well, from what I remember, well, I didn't read the actual article talking about Google's console, but from what people were saying, it seems like the niche that Google's console will try to fill is being entirely based on streaming.
Oh.
As in, streaming the games to you.
Right, because that's what the Ubisoft CEO was saying, it's going to be all about streaming now. Streaming is the future. This begs the question of, if Google plans on doing that, Google is going to have to, up the production of Google Fiber by crazy amounts. Make it absolutely nationwide where you can get it in most communities. Because right now, a good chunk of the country does not have good enough internet to do that.
Make it worldwide so I can actually have affordable freaking thousand up or what down.
Well, I feel like your government would still try to keep them out, though.
I mean, technically we have a thing that sells 1,000 down. It's just I don't think that it's possible. Like literally where I live, like in this part of the country, in this one flat, they didn't lay the lines good enough for that.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I mean, and it's another thing to say that, like, there's probably a lot of people in the country that have access to good internet, but they're not getting it. Because instead they're just going with Comcast or Time Warner because those are the two easiest options. And no matter what, people are going to go with the easiest, simplest option available to them because thinking is hard. And Comcast and Time Warner, like, as someone who has been on Comcast and Time Warner for a long time, Comcast and Time Warner will not give you the speeds necessary to stream games, and they don't want to. So, like, something has to change before the idea of a streaming-based gaming market can work.
Yep.
I don't know if any of you sons of bitches are hiding, like, 20 megabyte streaming capability from me, but I'm lucky to get near 2, so...
Well, I'm 30 down, 5 up, so
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, and that's the best internet that I can get here.
I'm like...
I need to move.
The thing is, I live with, like, multiple people who are all constantly streaming or downloading something or watching something. So I get 2 down, 10 up. I get faster up than I do down. Whatever, we're moving soon, so maybe we'll set up a proper internet there. I'll have to check my connections. I don't know. Soon may be able to help me with that. Soon's better about knowing this shit than I am. So, I don't know. A Google console, like, we'd have to... I'm cynical about the prospect. If they're sticking to the idea of the streaming, I think they're investing in something that the world isn't ready for yet.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm opposed to streaming-based gaming market, because the issue, like, with gaming right now is, back in the day when I was a kid, you would go and rent games, and that's how you played games as a kid, was you go and rent them, and you try to beat it in a week, and that was it. That doesn't work anymore. People don't rent games anymore. Blockbuster went out of business. Family Video is pretty much run by meth heads and hillbilly backwoods communities. And Redbox only lets you have it for a day. So, I mean, good fucking luck beating the game in a day.
Yeah. Enjoy all that progress.
And I mean, with the worsening economic climate, the idea of regularly renting games is becoming more and more financially unfeasible for families. So, I mean, I do understand the idea of streaming content and how that could be the future. But I think that the future isn't here yet. And the future won't be here for a while.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I mean, far be it from Google to be acting like they're in the future when they're very much not, but... I think that's about all we're going to get out of that topic. So, I'll go ahead and talk about what I've done this past week. So, I picked up a ton of games under the Steam sale. I've not got to play them a whole lot. I got to play a little bit of The Forest, because I wanted to play a little bit on peaceful mode, just so I understand what's going on in the game. Because I want to record it with Pink. We'll see if it works out. Currently, like, our attempts at recording are imploding badly, because my internet's freaking out. I don't know if we might record it later, to try to record it again later today, or maybe we'll talk about it off the podcast. So yeah. I got a little bit of The Forest in. The Forest, damn good survival game. The main thing I've heard about The Forest is it's the survival game for people who don't like survival games. Because, I mean, like, I used to be into survival games a good bit when I was younger, but now I kind of see the flaws more with them, and they usually end up being pretty aimless past a certain point. And The Forest certainly has very much aims. It has a full-on story, and the map is not randomly generated. It is fully pre-generated with specific objectives and everything you want to do, and eventually I think you can beat the game and finish the story mode, which is completely unheard of in survival games. I got Project Zomboid, which I believe I talked about on last week's podcast. I got Blood Bowl, which I believe I talked about on last week's podcast. I got Oxygen not included. And that is an interesting little game. It's like, you know Fallout Shelter?
Yeah.
Imagine if it wasn't shit. So you're in the center of some godforsaken asteroid or something. Well, it's not even really an asteroid because pockets of oxygen exist on the planet, but it's mostly lacking in oxygen or really heavy life. You got three little dudes or chicks. I mostly consider dudes a unisex term, but some people don't, so, just a little clarification. In a little pocket deep underground on this planet, and you get them, and you get a little bit of food to get you by, and you're expected to build a full-on functioning society from there. And it goes in depth with shit. Because not only do you have to feed them, and you have to farm, and you have to turn the products into food, you have to manage oxygen supply, a big, big part of the game, because you're not on a planet where oxygen seems to be too naturally occurring. And it goes further into some gross, goofy, disgusting stuff because it's a little bit of a cartoon game. So it has bathroom quarters and things. But the thing is, you want to control oxygen, but you also want to control disease. Because it's got that whole space thing going on of, in space, if someone catches a disease, it spreads throughout the colony really badly because everyone's living in such close quarters. So you have to manage sickness and such. And bathrooms in particular, you have to keep an eye on, because bathrooms, guess what, spread disease really badly. And it's a whole thing. I'm very interested as far as I am in the game. It was a game if it's not very good, I can just... Steam lets you refund games if you played them for less than 2 hours. So I was like, I'll just refund it if I play an hour of it and I don't like it. And then I started it up and I looked at the clock and it was 7 hours later. So I think it's pretty alright. Oh, Jesus. But it's pretty good for that whole science sci-fi thing of putting you in that situation of you have to manage oxygen, you have to manage disease, because those are things that in real life you take for granted because they're not really a problem. I don't know about you, but I've not had any problems with lack of oxygen in my house.
Yeah, I can't say I've experienced any such occurrences as well.
I have neither had issues with the fucking plague spreading through my community, so it's pretty good at that. I feel like it's nice when they do that in games, when they implement elements like that, gameplay elements, that make you think or feel emotions in that situation to make you think about it,
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a thing that a lot of games really do so much, and they really should. I have also picked up a couple games I've not played yet. I picked up Okami HD, which, that's one of those classics that everybody loves, and I'm a big Capcom guy, so hey, I'm interested in trying it. Which I don't believe either of you have played of Okami, have you?
Nope.
Okay. So you know what the game I'm referring to, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I picked up System Shock 2, which is supposed to be one of those classic first-person shooters. The BioShock was the kind of unofficial successor, unofficial sequel to it. Except where BioShock is like steampunk 1920s, System Shock 2 is very much sci-fi. And it kind of revolves around the idea of, you're on a space station of some sort, a plague is spread throughout it, and also there's secretly an AI trying to kill you.
Of course there is.
The main reason I bought it was, firstly, it's cheap, because it's an old-ass PC game, but the other reason I bought it was, it's supposed to have amazing Silent Hill-esque atmosphere, and I fucking love Silent Hill. As has been documented on this podcast several times. And I believe the last thing I've picked up that I can immediately think of is Prey, which came out last year to, immediately shot under the radar. Do you guys even remember hearing about Prey last year?
Yes, I do.
I think I recall the name faintly, but I don't even know what Prey is right now.
I think I've played the demo to Prey. Is it the one where the black tentacle monsters attack you and they can
Yes.
mimic? Okay.
Yes. So
Then yes, I have played the demo.
I don't know a terrific amount about the game. The only thing I know about it is like it was built up as a AAA game, came out to very little success, and like it's one of those games that like it's came out and it's already like, yeah, in a couple of years this is gonna be a cult classic. So I'm grabbing it now because it seems like a solid survival horror-ish first-person shooter. Well, I'll let you know about my opinion whenever I get around to playing it. But yeah, one of the big things I've heard about it is like the unique enemy design. One of the types of enemies can imitate furniture. So it ends up in a situation where you're scared of coffee mugs and Chinese takeout boxes, right?
I think that's just the basic enemy. That's the first enemy that you meet. Those are the mimics.
Probably. And I hear like it's got really creative weapon design and very good psychological horror, and I'm down for that.
Well, I know for a fact that you do get a freeze gun in the tutorial or somewhere around it.
Yes, and there's some kind of gun that's supposed to mess with gravity as well that everybody loved. I love creative first-person shooters. Not enough of those anymore. Too many shoot, bang, bangs. Not enough ones that introduce fun, goofy weapons like that. What? I did also pick up a Viscera cleanup detail, which that was one that I don't think I mentioned it to you last week. Did I?
No.
No, but you did show me while we tried out the streaming thing.
Right, I did. So, the thing was, I picked up that game unthinkingly, like, oh, this might be a fun game to relax. And it didn't occur to me until Soon made fun of me for playing it, that you guys would probably make fun of me for playing it. Because I shit you not, this game is about, like, you know, every big moment in sci-fi or action video games where you're like Doom, right? Where you're the Doom guy going through butchering aliens and killing them
And you
all.
clean up after it.
You clean up after it. You play as the janitor who is cleaning up after it. And it did not occur to me until Soon pointed it out. I bought a fucking game to relax, and it is a game about cleaning up corpses.
I mean, that is your job.
That is your designated job. Yes.
For those who don't know, there's an old joke on the forum. Like, for some reason, I thought it was funny when I was a preteen. Well, no, early teen, whatever. Whenever I started getting on the forum, I thought it was funny to joke about cleaning up corpses, and like it was my job. I don't know.
Yeah, so he became the corpse cleaner upper.
Yes, exactly.
And the name fits.
Yes, and now I am playing a game about cleaning up corpses. And it was I am so relaxed.
All the havoc that Wrestle Clown creates, and you just gotta follow him around and clean up after him.
It's the game. It's the game. I was playing through that game all relaxed, and I was like, oh man, this is a game a lot of people would find boring and mundane, but I'm having so much fun. And then Soon just messaged me with, are you seriously playing a game about cleaning up corpses? And I was like, fuck. Alright. Guess that's the way it is now.
It was your destiny.
It really is. I took to it real easy. It was naturally. I was born to do it.
Like a fish to water.
I can't tell if this is funny or embarrassing.
Why not both?
So, yeah, anyways, it's a game. You clean up corpses, generally. You can also mess around with them. A lot of people like to prop them up like dolls. Because it ain't really a game. It ain't really a game with freedom unless it lets you do fucked up shit, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time you just incinerate them. But it's mostly about mopping up blood. You get a welder that you use to weld up bullet holes. You throw away trash. Trash including such things as Chinese takeaway or little crumpled up papers or bodies.
Or dead elves.
Internal
In the
organs.
case of
Santa Massacre, right?
Yes, Santa Massacre.
Yeah, I haven't played.
There's this level pink where it's just Santa's workshop only. The elves are dead, and
And
Santa's paying you to clean it up.
have you ever
Idea.
heard listen to the Weird Al song about it? There's a old Weird Al song about Santa going on a massacre, like losing it and
Yes.
just killing all the elves and the reindeer.
Yes.
The level is based off of that, where you have to clean up the bodies of the elves and the reindeer after Santa went crazy and went on a rampage with a shotgun and dynamite. God, that's dumb, but that's the best kind of dumb, you know. As concepts for games go, that's pretty good. And you wouldn't expect to ever be playing a video game and being like, "Damn it, I missed a spot. Damn it, I didn't mop the right splash of blood. Now my boots are covered in blood, and I'm tracking blood all over the place."
Oh, more work.
There is nothing like the feeling of that in that game of cleaning up an entire room and going over the next room and seeing that the next room is worse. It's like you clean up after a guy who got like chopped up or eaten, right? And it's a small mess. It's a contained mess. And you're like, oh man, that was a lot of work. And you head over to the next room, and the guy just fucking exploded. Like, there's little bits of pieces of him everywhere. Every wall, floor, roof is covered in blood.
I mean,
There's bullet casings everywhere.
it must be better in a game, but freaking like I've been through similar things in life because I had to do cleaning jobs for the local swimming pool, and let's just say that there was a freaking
a kid
was,
threw up. A kid threw up
no,
on the floor. Oh
no, in the adult toilets.
Oh, that's where you get into the fun stuff there.
Yeah, in the adult toilets, there was diarrhea everywhere but in the toilet.
God bless him, he tried.
That's always the funny ones to hear about, because you have to imagine how it happened. Did the guy was the guy worried that the toilet wouldn't be able to contain it?
No, from what I could tell, he had projectile diarrhea, stood up, and then freaking gyrated his ass so it would go everywhere evenly.
He's like, I can't get on the toilet. I don't have enough time. There's no time. And he pulls his pants down and just lets go. High quality comedy here, folks.
Yeah, but usually it's only things like freaking people shitting in the pissers. And
that is the most confusing thing in the world to me. Hearing stories about dudes who take shits in urinals.
Yeah.
Like,
because
how?
Like it's right next to each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no walls. Somebody at some point walked in on a dude shitting in the urinal and said nothing. Admittedly, I do have to question.
I probably wouldn't say anything either, though. Come on now.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what would you say? Hey, you can't shit in the urinal, and he just turns his ass towards you.
But yeah, it's things like that. It's freaking like there were freaking times when how do I put this? There wasn't any shit in the toilet. There were plenty of bloody tampons though.
That just raises further questions. What the fuck happened? Okay, moving on. Moving on, back onto a topic that isn't embarrassing content. So Devil May Cry 5 was announced a couple weeks ago. We mentioned that. And, so I have put Devil May Cry 1 back in the Xbox, and I played through on normal. And, it's something, because I first played through Devil May Cry about 5 or 6 years ago. Roughly around the same time I would have met you guys. And back then, I was awful at the game. And I played through on easy mode. And the first Devil May Cry has the most insulting easy mode in any video game ever. Because there are no you can't even do combos. you just press the attack button, and Dante fucking combos for you. You're not even playing the game. It's like, yeah, these are cool combos. I don't know how to do them myself because the game is just doing them for me. But hey. Like, there's easy mode, and then there's stupid poo baby mode, you know? Yeah. And now I'm playing through on, like, I tried to play through on normal way back in the day. And I just got my ass beat by the first boss, and it was, like, awful for me. And it's a weird thing going through now, just this past week, going through it, because it's like, wait, was I stupid? The game is so much easier now. What happened?
I had a similar thing happen to me recently. We'll come back to it once we get to what I did last week.
Okay. And it's like I noticed, like, I used to be moderately good at shooters back in the day. I used to play lots of Gears or lots of Team Fortress. And it's the reverse experience with that, where, like, a couple months ago, I tried to play Gears with the family, and it's like, alright, you guys don't play Gears very much, so you just sit back and let me carry you. And we got in the game, it's like, oh, wait, nope, I suck. This is, no, wait, I'm dead. So it's weird thinking about that shit, how over the past 6 years I've changed my focus so much, and how quickly that has effects on you, you know?
Yep.
With that said, first Devil May Cry, for the most part, definitely a good game, definitely a great game for its time. It's a solid game now. Like, the gameplay is very good for what it is, for what you're looking for in your beat 'em ups, but it has some serious old style game issues. First and foremost, the continue system. My God. So the thing about the first Devil May Cry, it's not supposed to be a Devil May Cry game. It was supposed to be Resident Evil 4. However, the development went so off the fucking rails that the people in charge, whoever it was, I think it was Shinji Mikami, and Hideki Kamiya both would have worked on the first Devil May Cry, were just like, fuck it, it's not Resident Evil anymore. And so they called it a new game called Devil May Cry. Which, in case any of you who are fans of both Resident Evil and Devil May Cry have ever wondered, like, why does Dante look like what Dante looks like? It's because he's originally not supposed to be Dante. He's very clearly just a repurposed Leon. Which, for me, I always found interesting. And, like, one of the biggest elements that displays throughout Devil May Cry of it being a Resident Evil prototype is the fact that it still uses the Resident Evil continue system. Where if you die, you don't get a continue, you load up an old save. And you can only save at the beginning of a level. So if you...
Oh, no.
Several of the levels, like at least half the levels, end on a boss fight. Many of the boss fights are difficult. You will often get through a level, get to the boss fight kills you, you gotta go through the entire fucking level again. Now, they did introduce what are called yellow orbs, which are just things that let you restart a room if you die. But that is what other games would give you for free, and that game forces you to either collect them or buy them with the money you get. And it's especially weird, because the later Devil May Crys did not do that at all. The later Devil May Crys have a proper checkpoint system where if you die, you just restart the room. And the yellow orbs, rather than restarting the room for you, the yellow orbs will just resurrect you mid-fight. So I've played Devil May Cry 2, like I've tried to play through Devil May Cry 2 twice. And I will try to play through it again this next week, because I'm thinking for this podcast, I'll talk about Devil May Cry this week. I'll play through Devil May Cry 2 this coming week and talk about it on next week's podcast. And the following week, I'll talk about Devil May Cry 3 after playing through that. And the week after that, I'll play through Devil May Cry 4, because I am beyond fucking hyped for Devil May Cry 5, in case you haven't already figured it out.
You know, I do find it weird how many spin-offs Resident Evil freaking spawned, rather than, because you say Devil May Cry came from Resident Evil.
Yes.
Sengoku Basara came from Devil May Cry. I think it was supposed to be the third game, the first Sengoku Basara.
I'm not exactly sure. The other day I got bored because you talk about this fucking Sengoku Basara so many times. I was like, okay, what the hell is going on with Sengoku Basara? Like, what is this
It's a
series
fever
even?
dream.
I started up and I started looking at it, and like what Wikipedia says is legitimately the first game. I've actually seen the first Sengoku Basara game at the local mom and pop video game store several times. Because here in the States, the first Sengoku Basara game is not Sengoku Basara.
It's Devil Kings.
it's
Yeah, I
Dev-
have that version as well.
It's Devil Kings, yeah. And they changed like a shit ton of stuff about the story
They
and
changed
stuff
everything,
to try
more
and
or
make
less.
it be like Devil May Cry. Which I don't think it was supposed to be a Devil May Cry game though.
Was it not?
No, I think
Because I do believe, I do remember, or he remember freaking it being, it's being supposed to be or whatever, freaking Devil May Cry, and then they something, switched it made in the middle of development because it turned from what Devil May Cry would be, which is I think stylish hero action, into a freaking crowd fighter.
yes, the
I
first.
think-
Well, it wasn't. I don't think it started development as Devil May Cry. I think the the Devil Kings version we got here in the States was specifically changed in development to try and make it more like Devil May Cry. So I think I did hear that. Specifically, the head
Maybe.
developer said we changed it to be more like Devil May Cry because Americans love Devil May Cry.
I'll need to look it up because I haven't looked it up in like a year.
Which, by the way, that strategy did not work for shit for them.
Yeah, and then they released the third game without the Devil King's name. It was actually Sengoku Basara Samurai Heroes, I believe, in the third game was over
Yeah,
over everywhere. And then they didn't even freaking advertise it, and they were like, "See, nobody wants to buy this." And it's like, no shit, you didn't tell anybody that it was coming out.
well, it's one of those half-hearted releases like that. It's weird because they don't really do things like that anymore. They don't release games in the States and just change them to be entirely different games. They don't do that anymore. It feels like an odd thing of the past. It's like,
But yeah, go ahead.
just, I wanted to bring in this. I wanted to mention it just because it occurred to me. The funniest damn thing about Resident Evil and Devil May Cry is Resident Evil 2, when it was released in the States, they thought for some reason that Americans wouldn't be as dedicated to the game as Japanese people would. So they lowered the difficulty on all the difficulty settings, and they have a new difficulty setting that lower than easy that is just called American Easy.
Oh, they did the exact opposite with
Devil May Cry 3.
Basara.
With Devil May Cry 3, they did the exact opposite, and they didn't mean to. They accidentally released Devil May Cry 3 in the States, and all of the difficulties were moved up. American Normal was as hard as Japanese Hard. American Hard was as hard as Japanese Very Hard. And somehow American Very Hard was a new entire difficulty level onto itself.
Yeah, similarly with Devil Kings, normal is actually hard, easy is normal, hard is very hard, and usually, Basara doesn't have a very hard option. Well, technically they do, but not in the American release because they removed easy altogether. It doesn't exist.
Right. I remember hearing about that because they thought that Americans would think the term easy was too insulting. But they didn't think that when they were making American Easy for Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, it's like it's the same freaking company.
I'm reminded of the recent remake of the first Resident Evil. Well, the remaster of the remake. And it came with a new difficulty, a new level of easy. And it's the most insultingly fucking easy thing I've played in a while. Because like the ultra tough hunters that are supposed to be the big threat in the mansion that all of a sudden makes the mansion scary again and adds a sense of urgency to them. Yeah, you can just kill them in 2 shots with a shotgun. Well, there's your elite enemy fucking gone. But yeah, what I was saying about Devil May Cry, the first Devil May Cry is, yeah, the checkpoint system is a pain in the ass. And I wanted to play through again on hard. I wanted to play through again on hard, and I wanted to try and get 100% completion. And you guys, when you came into the Discord room, I was legitimately trying to beat the first boss on hard, and it was rough. if I am going to get around to beating the first Devil May Cry on hard, it's probably going to be later, so that it doesn't get in the way of me beating the entire series for the podcast.
Alright, I just checked. You were right. It didn't come out of Devil May Cry, but it was changed to be really connected to get Devil May Cry. So it might have a shared universe, the freaking localized version and Devil May Cry.
I don't think it does, because I would have heard about it. It's weird, because like some of the Capcom stuff is implied to be kind of shared universe, mostly by Marvel vs. Capcom.
But the thing here is that would they reference things that happened approximately 500 to more years ago?
I don't believe I've ever seen it in any of the games, no. But Devil May Cry's lore isn't exactly detailed. It's less about the small details, and it's more about Dante, Virgil, Nero, and company doing cool shit. With that said, I'm trying to think of like... it's another thing for another day. But, yeah, the other thing, Devil May Cry, like, it feels so much like Resident Evil 4 in so many parts. Like, there are parts that, like, very clearly just were translated directly to RE4. Like, where you can tell that they had the same conception. You can tell very solidly that Devil May Cry 4 and Resident Evil 4... Devil May Cry 1 and Resident Evil 4 had the same conceptual stage and just moved in different directions. And I don't think either of you guys have played Resident Evil 4 or the first Devil May Cry, correct?
Nope, I didn't play it.
I believe I did play Resident Evil 4. I just didn't get very far because I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, that's weird. Resident Evil... I fucking love Resident Evil 4. I suppose that might be understandable, though, because Resident Evil 4's control style, like, feels awful for the first 2 or 3 hours you're playing with it. Resident Evil 4's control style is like one of those where it's awful for the first 3 hours, and once you get used to it, you can pull off shit you would never be able to pull off in any other games. So, like, Resident Evil 4, though, like, the two games, you go to a Spanish castle, and there's a Castellan there, and, like, Devil May Cry 1 specifically refers to a Castellan of the castle several times, but you never actually meet him or find out what happened to him. Resident Evil 4, one of the big villains, is the Castellan of the Spanish castle. Devil May Cry 1, you spend a little bit of time in the Spanish countryside going to a village, going through forests and shit. RE4, same thing. Devil May Cry 1, you play through most of the game as a beat-em-up, but for some fucking reason, the last stretch of the game, you are instead controlling a biplane flying through a system of caves to escape from the island before it detonates. Resident Evil 4 has most of the game been a shooter, but for some reason the ending sequence is you riding a jet ski through a series of caves trying to escape from the island before it explodes. It's damn fascinating for me, at least as a fan. And I know I've seen footage before of Resident Evil 4 where they were considering turning it into a supernatural horror instead of the usual kind of sci-fi-ish horror. Well, I don't know if I'd call it sci-fi horror, whatever. But Resident Evil usually relies on big monsters from science, and Devil May Cry relies on big monsters from demons and ghosts. And you can definitely tell where a lot of the same shit got transferred. But I think that's about it. I'll probably have more to say about Devil May Cry next week when I chime in from, hey, I finished Devil May Cry 2, whatever. Other than that, I think that... Oh, I did get to watch Incredibles 2.
Oh, nice. I forgot that was out.
I don't believe either of you have watched it, right?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to try to avoid spoiling it then, because it's a damn good movie. But, yeah, I think I might have liked it better than the first one. Maybe.
Nice.
It's got spectacularly well put together action scenes, like especially for a Pixar movie. Like every fight scene looks great. And I'm trying to think of like flaws that are really notable. You might have heard about the whole epilepsy warning thing.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
So, ordinarily with movies, especially kids' movies, you gotta be careful. Because if you put in two colors that are too far apart on the gradient, and have the screen flash between them too quickly, it can cause some people with epilepsy to have seizures.
But yeah, I know I have epilepsy. Well, I had epilepsy, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I feel like an asshole for explaining it to you, but
Thankfully, I didn't have photosensitive one. I had a stress-based one.
oh, okay. I just wasn't sure if like maybe you had a different word in Hungarian or something, but
You cut out.
I wasn't for sure if you had a different word in Hungarian for it or nothing.
For what? Epilepsy?
Yeah.
I think that it's like 2 letters apart.
Ah, okay. I guess the common Latin root there. But yeah, the definitely they did not give a shit. They did not give a shit about the epilepsy in that movie, because it is the hardest I've ever seen it. Like people joke about like the old Pokemon episodes, right? That caused epilepsy.
Yeah, Porygon.
Yeah, it's that full on. Because there is like a solid 2 or 3 minutes, just like 2 straight, uncut minutes of the movie where the screen is flashing from pure black to pure white. The 2 colors that are on full on opposite scales of the opposite sides of the color scale, color gradient, and it like there's no time there. It's constantly flashing throughout the entire scene. And on one hand, like, it kind of looks artistically amazing for what the scene they're going for. But on the other hand, like, it's so hard on the flashing and all that. Like, I can definitely see how epileptics would suffer from it. For me, it was fucking hard to look at.
I don't think I have epilepsy, but yeah, it's like I'm getting nauseous just thinking about that right now.
Yeah. It's like, and it's during a really good scene that you want to pay attention to, but it's like, holy shit, this is burning my eyes. Other than that, let's see. The plot goes in a very good direction, but most of it is stuff that I have to spoil, which I don't want to. There is one twist that you think that they're going to build up, and it seems like the most obvious twist of all time, but it turns out to be a different twist, and I liked it, the way they built it up. The voice acting is all amazing. Everyone does incredible jobs, which, I mean, that's Pixar. You gotta expect it from Pixar. They bring back just about every character, even the NSA agent that his voice actor passed away. They just replaced him with someone off the cast of Breaking Bad. The movie doesn't have a whole lot of that whole thing that, you know, like, you know how ordinarily in fiction kids tend to be really shitty and tend to be plot coupons to try and force bad things on the adults?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, we need to hide. Oh, wait, the kid's going to throw a fit for something. Okay, now we're caught. There's very little of that. Like, there is one instance of a kid throwing a fit over something, but it's partially justified. Like, it's partially like, okay, yeah, the dad kind of deserves to get ripped about that one. And other than that, though, the movie also averts the usual Disney practice of the kid being smarter than the parent, which is weird. And it does have a lot more focus on Elastigirl than Mr. Incredible than the last movie, but that was very much what they said going in was, you know, the first one focused more on Mr. Incredible, this one will focus more on Elastigirl. But Mr. Incredible definitely gets his time in the spotlight. There's a great spot in the movie that it's a little bit of a spoiler for what's going on, but you probably already heard about it because it's part of the basic concept of the movie. But at the start, like, there's this company that wants to start hiring superheroes because they want to bring superheroes back into the limelight. And they bring in Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible. And they say, hey, we want to bring you two in. And we want to bring in Elastigirl first. And Mr. Incredible's like, hey, what the fuck? I want to do superheroing first. Let me do it. And they're just like, okay, you're going to have to wait until people like superheroes better, because you tend to make shit blow up. And it follows up immediately after a fight scene where Mr. Incredible does make nearly everything in the city blow up. So you kind of chuckle in your seat there like, yeah, they're not wrong. It almost feels like a dig at Man of Steel, you know? where the
Yeah.
superheroes that are too powerful wind up wrecking half the city. It's like, calm the fuck down. Yeah, good fucking movie. Good movie. That should be it. That should be it. That should be all I've done. So, Addy, let's hear what you've done this past week.
All right. I finished the book for Assassin's Creed 2. I read through it.
Is this your second or third time reading through the book?
No, but it's the first time I actually finished it. It's just the fourth time I brought it up.
Why would you read the book?
I brought up reading it.
Why would you read the book of the game that you finished several times already?
Because my school bought it for me for my birthday.
Could you not like secretly sell it on eBay?
I was interested in seeing what's different than the games and all that. And you know, this is the actual canon telling of what happened in the games. So whatever.
The games aren't canon enough.
And I mean, it is more or less storytelling of the games. There were some things that they changed that, I mean, I'm not sure if it was for the better or worse. I do believe they gave La Volpe a name, like an actual person name. And then I think the book ends with freaking Rodrigo poisoning himself, which
Super
that's not what
non-canon.
happens. Yes. Like, it's so non-canon that it's not even what happened in real life.
Yeah, that defies all logic. Why would they do that?
No idea, which is why I'm thinking about buying the next book to see how they remedy freaking Rodrigo killing
Oh, that's
himself.
how they get
while
you,
not-
man.
Yeah.
That's how they hook you in.
Let me tell you. Let me spoil it for you, Addy. They don't. Knowing how these game novels work, like, I've only seen like a very limited experience with them. Let me assure you. But generally, they work off the basis of ignoring canon, doing whatever the fuck they feel like, and having no real canon of their own. Because they just, every time one of these games comes out, they're like, you know, we could sell a book made off this game for like $5 and hire some fucking loser writer in his basement to make it for us.
I mean, true, but the reason why I'm inclined to actually believe the books is because, or you know, the reason why I want to know how they try to backpedal Rodrigo killing himself is because with the next game coming out, with there not actually being a canon story, the book will bring the canon story. The book will tell you what happened in the game.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, maybe that works retroactively as well.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, that still is really stupid, by the way. that canon story is in the books.
I feel like that's a thing they're saying now to sell the books, but I bet you Odyssey's story will not matter for the series as a whole because they don't want to invalidate anyone's choices.
Odyssey won't matter, just period.
Well, no, it won't, but like, it's the thing about having the games occur over such a long period of time. None of the other games will be set in the same area in the same time period as Odyssey, specifically to avoid, like, oh, hey, remember those choices you made? Non-canon. It's like how Mass Effect 3's ending was so bad and, like, so utterly varied and at the same time having no variance at all. And it fucked up the series so badly that the next game, Andromeda, was like, okay, so let's just say 50 years before Mass Effect 3, they sent out a bunch of colonists to outer space, like outside of the known universe, and follow them instead. That's how badly the Mass Effect 3 ending fucked up the canon, that they had to put it in another time frame, in another area of space, like 1,000 years later, outside of the known universe. And Assassin's Creed is going to do the same thing. And it's like I'm also thinking of Fallout, because Fallout, every Fallout game has been set in a different area, far enough away that your choices wouldn't have consequences there. The first two Fallout games were set in California. We haven't gone back to California. Fallout 3, Washington, D.C. We've not gone back to Washington, D.C. Fallout New Vegas, Nevada. We've not gone back to Nevada, and so on.
So yeah, other than that, I've been making progress in my no-hard run of freaking Assassin's Creed 2 because I was like, if I'm reading the book, I might as well. I've done that. What else did I do? I made progress in Slime Rancher. Do either of you know what Slime Rancher is?
Yes, I have it on Steam.
I have it on Xbox. It was one of the gold games.
Yeah, I got it off of the Japanese store because it is the free game this month on the Japanese store.
And correct me if I'm wrong. That is the first-person game where you get the little vacuum and you can suck up the slimes.
That is the game. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I am thinking of the right game. I got fairly far in that game. I never finished it though. I got to the point where I unlocked like the barn where you could invent things and shit. And I got like
I'd say that's mid game.
Okay, that makes sense. I got like 6 or 7 different breeds of slime going. Also, that game did not work for me because that game does not provide limits on the amount of slimes you can put in one pin. So I ended up in a situation where I put 50 pink slimes in one pin, and once you have that many slimes, they start falling over the top of the pin.
Yeah, I just made everything into pink Larjos.
I feel like that doesn't work economically. I don't think that was the most efficient plan.
It wasn't, but it did work with not having to freaking give a shit about what I feed them, which was the plan.
But like, it's easy to set up a chicken pen. I remember how easy it was to set up a chicken pen.
It's not the easiness. It's that I didn't have to actually take a look at what I'm feeding and what I feed it. Because
why would you play the game if you weren't going to put care into little things like that? That's the purpose of the game.
I'm in it for the money. I'm Mr. Krabs. I farm the plot so I get a lot of money and freaking make myself the best jetpack in the world.
Are you the kind of person that if a game gave the option, you'd just focus on slave labor?
Maybe.
Isn't that what slimes are for?
I feel like, yeah, I was about to raise that question. I feel like there's more immoral ways to make more money.
You get out.
I think there's more immoral ways to make more money. Like, there must be some kind of slime that you can make a ton of money by torturing.
No, what I did do though is that I had a lot of boom larjos, and they like to blow themselves out of the freaking thing that I put them in, and it's like I didn't have a lot. I had like 6, 7, something like that, and it's like okay, they blow the freaking food that I give them, they blow the bloody plots that they give out from the place, but then they blow themselves out of it as well. And after the 50th time where they not only blew themselves out of it, but also blew me up while I was trying to put them in, I just started sending them into the ocean when they fell out.
I was about to say, whenever a slime overpopulated in my game, I just start taking some out and then casting them off the edge of reality. Like that, and it feels real. On one hand, you have to do it. On the other hand, you feel really bad about it because they are cute little fuckers.
I didn't feel bad about it. I was tired of their shit, and I was like, okay, you brought this up on yourself. Go.
Wait. Isn't there a kind of slime that eats other slimes? Or is that just the monstrous ones?
That's the monstrous ones, I think.
Did the monstrous ones make money?
No.
Fuck. Well,
that would be my
I was about to say, instead of slave labor, how about cannibalism labor? A cannibal farm.
The bad thing is that I actually made some by accident, and they ate up like half my freaking thing.
Well, we all made them by accident. That's your first thing that happens in the game is like, oh wait.
It wasn't the first thing. I had an up and running freaking farm by that point. I made like 1,500, whatever the money is, daily.
Right, but everyone had that moment where they're like, hey, I'll just store all the different kind of slimes in one pin. Cats, rocks, pink slimes. Oh, why are all the slimes dead and now there's a big mean one?
Yeah, I put a phosphor slime next to my I put a pink phosphor larger next to my pink, what's it called, the pink tabby, and I was like, maybe it will be able to survive a night. And then I wake up and half my slimes are gone,
And
and and then and,
and the
yeah,
real
and then I
issue
had to
is,
shoot it with water.
yeah, I was about to say, and the real issue is then it kicks your ass.
I don't know. The angry phosphor slimes in the cave actually beat my ass more than any of the monstrous ones. But yeah, my only friends in those games were the puzzle slimes and the red slimes.
I mean, I
The
guess
puzzle slimes because they don't even need feeding.
they didn't. I don't remember any slime that didn't need feeding.
No, you just put them into the water, and then they give you plort because they eat water.
I did not know that. I never found those in my game. I have to go back and finish that someday. Probably not any day soon, but someday.
But yeah, so I did that. I started my third playthrough of GTA San Andreas, which I've never finished. The two, it always starts with me saying, "Okay, I'm actually gonna play through it legit this time." Then freaking getting to the train mission using cheats, and then giving up because I'm like, I'm using cheats again. I won't get achievements or anything for this. And at that point, I don't even feel like playing. This
Ooh.
time, this time I did the train mission in two goes. So
You
Yeah.
know, everybody says the train mission is the hardest. I passed that one multiple times on my first try.
I've never beaten it. I've every time I try to play San Andreas, I try to play that and I lose it every time. I get up there.
I've never beaten San Andreas because I never got past the plane tutorial.
Oh
I
man.
cannot fly.
man, I got past that. I think I got past that. The point that I can get past is freaking Zero's RC when you fight with his rival and it's inside the
Yeah,
freaking
I
thing
don't think I
where he
ever
sends.
finished that one either because, like I said, I cannot fly. But I don't think Zero's missions are necessary to complete the game.
Are they
Pretty sure
not? I
those
don't
are
think I had any
optional.
I don't think I had any missions after, or yeah, I did everything and that was still going and I couldn't leave.
I think it was one of those cases where like the first mission was necessary and the other missions he has aren't. Like the others are side missions, but the first one is a main mission. One of those things where
Yeah.
they make you do one mission mandatorily to introduce them. Other than that,
But yeah, another missions that I hate, and I'm like right at the point where they come up, are the Katrina missions or whatever her name is, Caesar's cousin,
Catalina.
Catalina. Yeah,
Those missions are awesome, man.
those missions were awful. I hate her, and I hate her quad.
are you
Oh
talking?
lordy, that one final race you have with her missions, that one took me forever to beat.
The race is all right. It's the everything else. Like I don't like having to worry about the freaking tanker falling off or whatever. I don't like having to freaking race after hillbillies with a freaking what's it called? Bloody ATV. Because the ATV controls in that game are really freaking slippery for my for my taste. Like not slippery, it's just over responsive, I think, is actually the word.
Ah,
Didn't that chick rape CJ at one point?
I do think so, yes.
I've never actually gotten far in GTA San Andreas. I just hear things. Like, oh yeah, there's an RC mission everybody hates. Oh yeah, there's a girlfriend CJ has that well, it's not even really his girlfriend, it's just a chick who forces herself on him and forces him to help her with bank heists or something.
Yes, that is Catalina.
And then she leaves to become the villain for GTA 3.
Yes. Yes, that is her. But yeah, so far I've had fun with it, I'd say. It's a 360 port, which is the worst port ever freaking made, but
Oh,
you know.
I've played the PC port. It's worse. It's much worse. They up the draw distance, but you do not want to play classic GTA on a keyboard in your life.
I've only played 3 on a keyboard, so. But yeah, with the 360 port, it's the little things that they did. Like I think they removed like half the music in the game, and what music is in the game, is buggy to the point where if you if you have if you have a station running for too long, then the station just starts skipping.
Mm.
Or at least I had that problem back on the 360. Right now, it seems fixed. So I'm not sure if they released a patch for it or whatever. But
I'm gonna wager they didn't release a patch for it. I'm gonna wager that was like a weird one-time issue.
I mean, it persisted throughout my 360 playthrough. So
I'm wondering if if it was an intentional. What am I about to say? Right. All it did was right. I was just reminded of a thing in GTA 4. I don't know if they kept it in GTA 5, but in GTA 4, your radio skips when somebody calls you on the cell phone. Because that was actually a thing that happened for a lot of cell phones and radios at the time. I don't know if it still does, because I've never noticed. But
I can't say I've ever received a call while I was driving, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, I was about to say it now dawns on
I'm
me.
a
I
safe
don't know.
driver, you guys.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I don't have a driver's license. So
it now dawns on me I've never received a call from the inside of a car either. But then again, I have my phone set to vibrate, and it is the weakest vibrate on the planet. So people will be like texting me, and they'll get pissed at me like, "Hey, I was texting you," and I was like, "Well, I didn't fucking know."
So yeah, aside from GTA, I I got my niece into Vermintide. Because she asked
She's
me
probably
she asked
better
me,
than me at it, so good on her.
she asked me if I had any games because she plays Tekken with me and I don't have Tekken installed now. And I was like, I have this game with monsters, and she's like, okay, show me. And then I show her, and then we both left out freaking disemboweled rats.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good my niece is, and I don't mean that like that in the game. Like her favorite things to do in video games so far seem to be killing people in Assassin's Creed and seeing me disembowel rats in Vermintide.
Yay.
She's got
So,
a bright
you know.
future.
Because like I gave her control in Origins once, and the first thing she did was jump off of a rooftop, find guards, and then kill them.
I remember when I was a little kid, there was a baseball game we had on PS2, and I played it, and the only thing I wanted to do was be the pitcher and try to bean the batter with the ball. Is that about all you done this past week, Addy?
I played what's it called? Freaking Streets of Rage with Pink as well.
Yes, we
Streets
did.
of Rage 2, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta
Go ahead.
admit, I started off hot with that game, and I was enjoying it because that's a game I played a lot as I was a little kid. But I had also been coming off like a 6-day work week, and I had only gotten like 5 hours of sleep each night. So like about midway through playing with Addie, I was just literally falling asleep there. I think there were moments where Addie was just waiting on me to move my character so we could go on.
I was falling asleep as well because I woke up that day. I woke up at like 3 a.m. my time. So
We were both basically dead.
yeah. And most of the gameplay was just freaking us hitting each other while people watched.
Just suplexing each other all across the streets.
Yeah, I even uploaded a video on Twitter showing the end of a level, which basically sums up most of the gameplay. But yeah, and I've been playing a lot of Smite, but that's about it.
All right. Oh, I heard Baron Samedi got added to the game.
Yes, Baron Samedi is the best character in the game, both in character, in gameplay style, and being freaking overpowered. They are nerfing him next patch.
Okay.
which, yeah,
Yeah, every new character in every game ever nowadays has to be like, alright, he's great, let's nerf him. They're gonna
yeah.
release a fucking hamster for Overwatch and be like, alright, needs a nerf. By the way,
It, yeah.
we did not. We should probably talk about that for a little bit. They're adding a fucking
Yeah.
hamster to Overwatch.
He's the greatest thing ever.
My only input with him or about him is the picture that I posted on the forums, which is just the cover to the film G-Force, which I'm not sure if either of you watched. I watched it like 3 times
Right,
because I was 10.
yeah, because they bring shitty Disney movies over to other countries, and those are the only American countries that get to go. American movies that get to go over there. So, yeah, that is like amazing in several ways. I.
If you had asked me what character I thought they were going to announce next, or what kind of character they were going to announce next, the last thing I would have guessed was a hamster in a bowling ball.
Oh hell no. The the for a while now, people have been thinking it was gonna be like Junk Queen, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I wasn't expecting that because, like, with every new character, people have always been speculating like somebody else, like back way when it first released, and they were getting ready to release their first character. You know, Sombra has been that name announced or speculated from the very start, but they didn't release Sombra first. They released Ana, and once Ana got released, like everyone was asking, "Is that Sombra? Is it? I don't understand. What is this?" So basically, anytime they are going to release a new character, the speculators will always be speculating on somebody else. It's like they've been speculating on the Junktown Queen since that map got put up, and I think we've had, I don't know, 3 characters have come out since then. I'm not 100% certain.
When did they add the Junktown map? Shit, I do not know. I've not been keeping up on Overwatch for the last couple of years, sadly. But this hamster's gonna fucking get me to come back. Damn. The I'm like beyond interested to see where this fits. Like, do you think it's gonna be a tank? Do you think we're gonna get a hamster as a tank?
I believe so, and I believe it's already been confirmed that the hamster wrecking ball Hammond is going to be a tank.
I want it to be a tank.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. Not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, it is a death robot with machine gun, so yeah, it's probably a tank. I'm also gonna wager, like, based off the fact that it rolls in and then pops up on the legs, and then pops out the machine guns, I'm gonna bet they're gonna try and make it a little bit of a speedier tank, and one of its abilities will be to turn into a ball, and that makes it go faster, maybe, you think?
Yeah.
Or maybe you think it'd be the opposite, and it's in a ball form most of the time, and can turn into a stationary turret, like Bastion.
Yeah, honestly, it will probably be ball form most of the time, and the will transform into a tank like Bastion does.
My thing about the ball form is, like, how much of a pain in the ass would it be to animate properly? Because what if someone just stops while they're in the middle of rolling, and then they turn in, like, wouldn't it look freaky if he's, like, facing the wrong way up when he turns into turret form?
Yeah.
Like, the ball
I
just
think
does a 180.
Yeah.
And how would it look when he, like, turns around without moving? So I feel like the ball form is actually just going to be a dash or something, you know? Or, like, something closer maybe to Reinhardt's charge, where it can't be stopped by the player, so that the player can't fuck with it. And I feel like that'd be interesting to see a tank with a dash, definitely. Because, I mean, we already got Brigitte, and Brigitte is, like, technically a little bit of a tank, but she's everything ever, so at this point, who the fuck cares?
Yep.
Might as well experiment. Hey, if it turns out the character's too good at filling multiple roles, just nerf them into oblivion.
Hell yeah.
My main thing, though, is I saw that character announced, and at first I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. And then it popped into my head, the instant we bring this up on the forum, Soon is going to chime in with, Paladins already did it. And I'll be fucking damned. There he was. Paladins already did it. And I think the character he was referring to was just a goblin in a mech. Like, oh yeah, a hamster in a rolling death ball of machine guns is the exact same thing as a goblin piloting a mech.
Overwatch already had a goblin in mech. It's Diva.
Yeah. The Dorito-fueled gremlin.
Exactly.
Don't insult the gremlin, don't insult the gremlin like that.
I can't wait till Hi-Rez makes another game that's just a cheap knockoff of another game and soon declares it the book.
They already made their own Fortnite.
Yeah, they made their own Fortnite. And they made Smite, and Smite was just their cheap knockoff of League of Legends. What's next?
We'll have to wait and see. You need some other game to take over the limelight.
Call of the Gods.
Call of the Gods. I think it went a little late on that one now.
Call of the Gods is just Zeus with a machine gun.
Godcraft.
Godcraft.
It's not actually a Minecraft clone, it's just a Minecraft skin creator.
Oh, Jesus. So...
No, they're gonna make an open world RPG. Call it the God. Wild Fight.
You lost me. You lost me, man.
The Witcher.
Yeah, I figured it was Witcher, but I don't see how that turned in Witcher into that. Well, whatever. What were we supposed to be talking about that turned into the hamster talk?
Man, we were supposed to be talking about me. What's
up?
What
Pink did.
I'm the big star here.
You're also a hamster in a dust ball.
In a few months, I'll be. Hopefully sooner. So yeah, actually keeping it in with Overwatch, I got to play Overwatch for like the first time since I've moved this month, or however long I've been in the process of moving. That's been a pain. And Symmetra's patch went live. She's an entirely new character now.
Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah. The character's select screen really threw me off when I got in. I was like, okay, I'm going to go over here to my support characters. Oh my god, where is everybody? It's like there's just a big line of characters in the center now because that's all the damage dealers. Then you got a little line on the left for the tanks and a little line on the right for the supports.
I feel like this begs the question of, are we going to just get a shit ton of tanks and supports for the next 2 or 3 years so that the lines are even now? New tank, new support. Are we gonna get any new damage dealers? Fuck no, already too many of them. Let's go.
They're gonna
all those other
release.
damaged characters that we introduced. That was a mistake. We really meant to make supports and tanks. Let's try that again.
The next 3 characters are going to be Mercy with slightly different things.
I feel like Brigitte was supposed to be Mercy. It's just like, hey, Mercy's getting beat up on pretty bad by Genji, so let's give her armor. No, that's our new character. Get to work, you guys. We've got a star here.
I mean, it works for Rainbow Six. It works for Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
Freaking Tachanka is useless. Let's just make a new character that does Tachanka better.
That is exactly what they're doing. Because if you notice, like, all the new characters that come out are infinitely better than the old default characters, because now that the default characters are free, why bother to sell them?
Yep.
I really do need to get Maestro, though, because... Eyes.
Yeah. So Overwatch was fun as always. They've got a lot of new stuff introduced. There's this little like I don't know support type thing for users to use to like if you're a good teammate, your teammates can like I'll have to look it up so I know what I'm talking about. But if you're like a good teammate, your other teammates can send you like a little tip type thing. So your profile user thing will show others that users have complimented your skills and whatnot.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be a lot better to explain if I knew what I was talking about, but I don't really.
I think they're introducing a similar thing in this might with the next patch as well.
well, that's just not going to happen. I feel like the issue with that is, firstly, Overwatch, they've nerfed the shit out of support characters, so he even plays support anymore. Now with Smite, it's like, is there anyone in that community that isn't toxic?
No.
Definitely not. You haven't heard Pink cuss yet. I have.
I'm going to get into this. Hang on a second. Okay, so Symmetra's changes. I haven't gone to player because everybody else is testing her out right now. But I really like what they've done with her because she's kind of more damage dealing now, or she's viable as an offensive character, I'm thinking. Because, she doesn't have to be up close to a wall to place her turrets anymore. She shoots the turrets out and they will fly forward until they stick onto something.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, so like in the 2 capture point map, it's like you can just send out your little sentries onto the capture point before you even get there, and like once you're there, they're already going to be dealing damage, and then you can deal damage as well. Her teleport pad is not her ultimate anymore, it's an ability. I'm not sure how to quite or how it will function in a viable way because it doesn't like stretch from the base to where Symmetra's at. Now the entrance and exit will one be at her feet and then slightly forward. It's like it's not a great distance. It just goes up in front of her like a couple
Wait, she can choose where to build the entrance and exit now.
No, it's basically a line. Well, it was always a back and forth portal. I don't know if everyone knew that. You can enter and exit either way. It's just now she places it directly in front of her, and the other portal is directly in front of her several feet away. And I believe you can shoot stuff through it. So I'm not quite certain how to use it in a viable capacity yet. We'll see as time goes on how that will work.
I feel like...
But her ultimate is like a gigantic shield that can encompass half the map.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. And she doesn't have the auto lock on her primary anymore. You actually have to aim it. But it's still got the damage built in it.
Alright. So now that's
kind of makes me sad. I can't get any more free play of the games like I did that one time, but I think it's alright.
Yeah, now it's more of an exclusive Moira thing, I guess.
Yeah.
My thing there is like...
Even Moira had to aim a bit more, though.
Yeah. My thing there is well, Moira had longer range, though, that made up for it. Much longer range.
Oh, yeah. Moira's got crazy range.
But my thing there, though, is did they get rid of that stupid shield they added for her that she just shoots a shield forward and it slowly travels?
I don't think I've seen the shield yet. I can't say with certainty that they've removed it, but I've not seen anyone utilize it, so it's possible.
I hope they got rid of it because it was the worst thing. Like, the instant I tested that button, like, while trying to out the new Symmetra that they tried to make a couple months back, I was like, that is the most useless thing for this character they could have added.
Yep.
So I hope they replace it with something more useful. The teleporter, like, on one hand, I love the idea of the teleporter being a regular ability, because the teleporter, as it was prior, was, like, relying on it entirely for ults. That means people just weren't going to get to use it.
Yep.
Like, anytime I ever actually saw a Symmetra teleporter out in the field, I wouldn't be able to remember what it was. I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, right, it's a Symmetra teleporter. Because not only are Symmetra players extraordinarily rare, Symmetra players that actually put down teleporters were extraordinarily rare. So,
Yeah. It's like the best Symmetra, which there aren't many. The
yeah.
best symmetric strategy you could use with a teleporter, in my experience, was flanking at best. Like there are some like objective points that you can flank really well, like have everyone going for a team kill, get killed, and then you put your teleporter down and they all come back with their ultimates and wreck house and capture the point real quick. But aside from that, it's like I didn't get much use out of the teleporter like ever. It's like the shield barrier, shield generator was the better option, but even that was kind of lackluster. So I find her new ultimate to be far more exciting.
My thing is, I come from TF2, and TF2, like, the teleporter was very much a central element of the builder character, the engineer, who back then was just one character. He built the turret, he built the teleporter, and he built the dispenser, which refilled ammo, which, of course, is a foreign concept for Overwatch.
What is ammo?
And so it was weird to me that the only teleporter belonged to Symmetra. She only got it on an ult, so she'd only get to place one every century. Because I'm used to TF2, where the engineer, if he hasn't thrown down a teleporter at the start of the game, he's a fucking fool. Because, legitimately, like, it's funny watching engineers in TF2, because everybody else doesn't really have to do anything, especially because TF2 makes your defenses, your control point, pretty close to base on some maps. So everyone else on the defensive team is like messing around, doing taunts, jumping around, trying to parkour off the environment, right? Meanwhile, the engineer is rushing his ass to get the teleporter set up, to get the sentry set up, to get the dispenser set up, and all of that. And that was always a funny thing about TF2, and here that's not really a thing.
Yep.
Especially because Overwatch is pretty stringent about getting the defense team to get the fucking lead out of their ass. Anyways, what else have you done this past week, Pink?
Aside from Overwatch, I did a lot of Rainbow Six.
Oh, you guys are going back to Rainbow Six, right? I did see the
No, Pink is.
Addy's not. I have been adamant that I'm going to get better at that game. Like,
I
I'm
just
not
don't give
sure
a shit.
why. It's a strange thing because, like, a year ago, 2 years ago, I would not have considered myself an online gamer in the slightest. I would barely have considered myself a gamer at all. But Overwatch changed everything to the point where that was, like, the only game I was ever playing for quite a decent stretch of time. And it's still something I regularly strive to play. Now I'm playing Rainbow Six, and that is a whole other beast.
Oh my god, is it? I'd
And
love
then
to
he
get.
plays Smite. Go ahead.
I was about to say I'd love to get better at Siege, but that requires a sense of patience that I don't really have for a game of. Like, if the game had better business practices with making the characters cheaper and everything, then I'd probably be fine with it. I'd probably have the patience. But it's the fact that you have to spend like a fucking decade working to get one character that kills it for me. Where it's like, this isn't worth the amount of time I am investing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a problem for me too as well. And then there's also the problem where my RB doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm basically not allowed to play Rainbow Six against people, only against Pink or against the AI, because like against Pink it doesn't really matter because he would probably kill me anyway. Against the AI it doesn't matter because the AI, well, Pink probably won't kill me because I messed up because I couldn't put my shit down because he knows that my RB doesn't work.
Yeah. So they had at the start of last week, I think it was, maybe a week before that, they had this little birthday challenge for Thatcher, and Thatcher is my guy. I've picked him up as my quote-unquote main. I love him to death. I find him to be the funnest character to play. And they had a birthday challenge for him where you have to destroy like 10 gadgets using Thatcher's EMP. in order to unlock his little dog tag. So, I spent like a week playing Rainbow Six nonstop. Well, not completely nonstop. Trying to get it. But I could not because, lo and behold, once you make a challenge for one character, everybody on the team decides that that character is the character they want to play. So I never got to play as Thatcher.
Oh, Jesus. I know that
It's
problem.
basically like when Overwatch releases a new hero and everyone runs to lock them in. That's how it was when I was trying to play Thatcher. It's like, at one point, I wasn't even aware of the challenge. I was like, why is everyone picking Thatcher? It's like, I'm always Thatcher. I guess I'll go Twitch. I don't think she's quite as good as Thatcher, but I guess it's a good substitute. Then I go on to Twitter, and I see that they put that little challenge out. And I'm like, oh, that's why everyone's picking my guy.
This is why it's good for me, because they always forget that Russians exist. So Capcan and Fuse never get anything.
Oh,
It certainly helps that Fuse is mostly known for killing his own teammates.
yeah.
And Capcan is like, let's be honest here, Capcan is the kind of guy that only people who don't really know what they're doing die to.
Yep.
Because
Well,
you don't fuck with the doors near the enemy's base unless you are extremely new to the game, you know?
Yeah. People get desperate when the clock starts running out, but aside from that.
Yeah, I was about to say Capcan is a really situational character, but he can kill anybody as long as they're trying to rush.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll get a lot of ashes. So, it took me like 5 days until people stopped playing Thatcher. And then I got his little dog tag thing on the first round. So that was a success for me.
All right.
Yeah, this week, 2 people had birthdays on the same day. It was Glaz and Legion. And their challenges were different because you didn't actually have to play as those characters and do specific things with them. Glaz's challenge was basically the same as Thatcher's. You just had to destroy 10 defender gadgets on the attacking side. And with Legion, you had to destroy like 20 drones, which was easy because I play mute. And once you mute the drones, they're easy targets. So I did those lickety-split, no problem.
All
And
right.
that was the end of Rainbow Six for me. So I got 3 dog tags and a whole lot of bullets in my chest, both physically and emotionally.
If I ever go back to Rainbow Six Siege, I'm going to be honest, I'll probably just give in and shell out the cash for the extra operators.
I thought about buying freaking Maestro and freaking Alibi when they came out, but then I was like, I probably need the money for something else, and I still have the
Yeah.
money.
If you ever need money for something else, it's like I wouldn't recommend you ever buy stuff in Rainbow Six.
Honestly, I'd
Ultimately
probably
not worth it, especially for you guys who do not play the game all that often. Because what really would you be getting out of it? But
Like,
that's
you
just arguments for argument's sake, I suppose.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I'd probably be smarter to invest that money and get a bit more, and then put all of it into getting the freaking God Pass in Smite.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Or a new controller with an RB that works. It's like,
For
you got
a new
multiple
controller,
options.
for a new controller for RB, I need more than a couple of thousands.
Yeah,
Because
that is
it's-
true. Like controllers cost more than games nowadays.
Yes, they do. Holy fuck.
No, genuinely, a controller costs as much as a new game over here.
It does
It's
over
$70
here.
bucks.
It does over here,
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
It costs
I'm not saying that they're cheap. I'm saying they are just as much, if not more, in some cases.
New games here cost $60. New controllers here cost $60. It's fucking insane.
That's bullshit.
Yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to pick up Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I wanted to have a thing where I'd play with you guys, but I'd also play with my family, and I'd pick up 2 extra controllers so everyone in my family could play. And it's like, oh wait, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that because that cost me $180 or something.
It's like the
I wanted-
cheapest option there was Marvel Ultimate Alliance at one point.
Yeah.
I
like-
wanted
Game was
to
$10 and controllers over here are still $80.
I
Oh,
wanted to
$80?
pick
Are you fucking joking? No, 120.
I'm
wanted
talking
to
about the
pick up-
budget ones you might be lucky enough to find at Walmart, man.
Oh, but yeah, I wanted to pick up Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but then I didn't have the money.
Oh yeah. And for me, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance should probably be at the back of the line because I still haven't picked up GTA 5 for Xbox One, and that game has not gone down in price at all. They're still fucking expecting $60 for that.
GTA
Yep.
5 I don't actually want to install on my Xbox anymore because last time I installed it, it took over half of it, and it's like I have other games that
Yeah.
I probably like more.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
time
I honestly need to start cleaning out my Xbox because I've got a lot of junk on there that I'm not gonna ever play again, probably. Like,
GTA
I always consider
Rainbow Six.
uninstalling. No, I need that in my life because I'm a masochist. I enjoy being pummeled. So I always look at Fallout 4 and I'm like, I should probably uninstall that. But no, I might go back and finish it one day. No. Like, well, I'm just very indecisive on that. But one day it's probably going to get deleted.
What I
I
love
might
is
shed
the
a
games.
tear, but I've always got New Vegas.
What I love is that the games that you do finally decide to delete are the ones that you do end up being like, oh, I need to go back and finish that.
Yeah. Like that's just what worries me. It's like I've got all this progress on this character and I don't want to uninstall because then all that progress it's just gone. It never happened. I don't know if I can live with that.
Meanwhile, I made no progress, just cheated my way to a character that doesn't die at all. And I'm like, I don't care.
Pink,
And I haven't.
Pink, you'd be losing your nothing character that behaves in the exact same way everyone else's
Yeah.
character does.
Yep.
You'd be losing your character that says yes to everything in different tones.
Sarcastic, yes.
You'd be losing your sarcastic character. You've invested so much in your character of sarcasm.
Have you found freaking Sean yet?
Ugh.
Yes. It's like I got pretty far through the game before I just stopped playing.
You know what I question? Who the fuck is
Yeah.
it that goes through those games and picks the questioning option? Who makes a character that's just like questioning yes? We need the settlement needs your help. What do you mean help?
What do you mean
Find
settlement?
help, please. I'm not aware of this phrase.
Define need. What does need mean?
Sir, do you need help finding your son? What do you mean, son?
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
Your son, Sean. Who's Sean? Fuck that game.
Yep.
So, is that about all you done this past week, Pink?
We did the
So
41-minute match
I've
of
got
Doom.
one more point to hit because I've been playing a lot of Smite with Addy, and I've been tinkering with a lot of items because I'm just trying to try to figure out what stuff does on my own. So I enjoy using the popular tab just as much as anybody, but I've been experimenting a lot more. I've honestly been using the Odysseus bow on a lot of warriors just because it helps me clear out lanes of minions faster. But I don't think it provides much support elsewhere.
No, it doesn't. The oboe is only good on crit build hunters, I believe, and crit build Loki.
Yeah, yesterday or the other day when I was playing Ratatosker, I think at one point I had that one ice hammer that slows people, and I had the Odysseus bow, which increases my attack speed like tenfold, in addition to all my katanas and acorns and whatnot. So my attack speed was through the roof, and I was slowing people down, and I was hoping that I could get some nice combos off there by keeping them isolated and unable to run away with all my devastating strikes, but it actually didn't work out all that well.
Yeah, because then you're just picking off little chinks of their health.
Yeah, it's like they've got all this defense, and I'm just sort of smacking them around with my little claws.
Yeah, that's why you get either physical power or crit.
Yeah.
They're busy playing
Wasn't
the game
quite
and you're just
working
tapping
out
them
for
on the
the
back.
Yeah, so a lot of Smite with Addy, and this game has turned me into a terrible person. Absolutely terrible.
I heard Spring cuss.
Yes.
Oh my god, what happened?
The other day, I was playing as Kali. It was an arena match. And I'm just doing my business, just trucking along the old assassin way. And at one point, I get a little overzealous because I've killed like 2 people in a row. and I've beaten Ganesha to the point of death. But he's running away from me. And because I've already killed everyone else, he's my new target, so to speak. You know, the Kali's passive. He's marked for death. If I kill him, I get all my health and mana back and whatnot. Plus the glory of killing the elephant that hasn't died yet.
Is that the one?
So-
Is that the one time that I stole it accidentally?
The one time you what?
I stole it accidentally. Where you were near death, you nearly killed someone, and then I took the last shot
That-
because I thought you were in trouble.
That was a different time than this. This is a time where Ganesha started running away at such a low health bar, and I could not catch up to him, and I just start becoming laser focused on this elephant, and I just cussed for the very first time in front of Addie, and I stopped just saying anything, and I'm kind of taken aback by myself. I'm like, did I just say what I just said? I'm pretty
It wasn't
sure
the
I
first
just told
time,
him-
Pink.
Was it not the first time?
It was not. I just never made it a deal because you didn't say it was loud.
I feel like at some point I have heard Pink like say shit just casually in the middle of like talking about something.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard Pink call people prostitutes before.
Well, prostitute isn't a curse word.
What?
No, not like that.
Oh, you prostitute! My filthy language, oh, like a sailor. I call him prostitutes, I call them prostitutes, oh my, this place is full of prostitutes.
If I've ever used the word whore before, I don't.
No, not that.
Oh, what did I use?
What do you think? Okay, I'm curious. I'm curious what word he used, and I'm more curious if Pink, because let's see, there's whore and there's that's really the only one.
I don't know any other synonyms to be honest.
Hooker.
It's the one they use most.
Hooker. Hooker's not a
Right.
curse word, Addy.
What?
Clue me in, man. I have no idea what we're talking.
The only
The first
other
thing is. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
the only other word I know is hooker, and hooker's not a curse word.
W.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, you cut out.
Oh, I've said it 2 or 3 times now, but the only other synonym for prostitute that I know is hooker, and I'm pretty sure that's not a curse word because I've said it many
That's
times.
a very PG word, I would say.
Not hooker either. Then how should I say it? Freaking.
Type it in the chat.
Yeah, throw it in the chat if you don't want it on recording because you think it's too bad. Fair warning, I don't think it's a word for prostitute, whatever word you're thinking. If you're thinking the same word I am, then it's not a word for prostitute.
Does it end in CH?
That's a word for a female dog, Eddie.
I've heard it used for prostitute.
Maybe from
Okay,
the
well-
pimp.
If this word is the word I think you're talking about, this is the moment that I'm talking about, and you
Yes.
didn't have to interrupt me at all, because she was
No,
running away.
I'm just saying that you said it before that moment.
I don't know if I've said it before though, but I'll take your word for it.
They go,
Definitely never said it in an insulting manner, screaming at an elephant.
No, definitely not like that.
If I've like casually said it in a joking manner, like during one of our playthroughs, and yeah, I can't believe that, but I don't.
No,
think
you
I've ever-
had it with someone still, but I'm not sure who you did.
Did I?
Or you didn't yell it, but you whispered or like said it under your breath while
Oh, no,
someone
there's-
ran away.
There's absolutely no way I did that because I don't say things underneath my breath. Trust me. Yeah, Ganesha ran away. I said, "Get back here, you little bitch." Not little bitch though, just the B word. And I stopped myself. And I was so taken aback because that's not something I'll typically say. I don't claim to be entirely squeaky clean, but that is something that I don't normally say, especially in a very mad manner, because I try to maintain a very mellow equilibrium. It's like I don't ever try to get mad during games, but Smite is a game that just angers me to no end when things don't tend to work out my way. It's like I can die repeatedly in Siege and still have a good time, but if I can't kill an elephant in Smite, it's just the end of the world for me, and I may as well just die in real life.
Oh, I can't claim. I can't make the same claims on several
It's
fronts.
like I have 2 years worth of Overwatch under my belt. I've never gotten mad at that game ever before. But Smite just triggers me, man.
smart.
Smite.
Yeah. Just
also, not a curse word.
yeah, I know. I'm just thinking out loud for things that whenever we record Smite can be things. We'll come back to this.
But yeah, that was the extent of my smiting with Addy. It's like I literally told Addy over the microphone, "This game is turning me into a terrible person," and he politely responds, "I've never heard you cuss before," and I respond, "Yes."
I've definitely heard you say shit or ass at several points.
Yeah.
I don't count shit and ass as cuss words just because I use them. Well, not because I use them, but they're
I
so
count
mellow
them.
that
I count them because that's not something I would ever say in front of my family. Okay, maybe ass. I've probably said that a few times, but like if it's not something I would say with children in the room, then yeah, it's a cuss word.
Oh, see,
my niece speaks freaking more like a sailor than I do.
dude, where do you think I learned to curse from? My fucking family.
That's why I don't curse with them. I don't want them to turn out like you. This actually ties in really well because I legit
You don't have
posted
to.
my podcast with you guys on Facebook. Like my mom, she's like, "Hey, I want to listen to your stuff sometimes." So I started to post those on Facebook in the off chance that she'll actually click them. The first one I intentionally posted on Facebook was actually one where Addie was trying to convince me to get Tekken because all the women could be put into bikinis. And I thought that would be funny because it's like we discussed this in the first 5 minutes. So I thought that'd be the funniest one to put up there because I'm doing my typical PSP thing of, "Oh yeah, ladies are pretty awesome. That sounds good. Bikinis, perfect, Addie. I'll definitely get this game." So I thought that'd be the most hilarious option to post up there and have her listen to, because it's like, even if she only listens to the first 5 minutes or so, she'll still hear that part, and it will be hilarious.
Oh,
I mean, it might freak her out a little bit, but it would still make me laugh internally, because it's like we're just being total morons. But I don't think she actually listened to that one, because she listened to like maybe the one after that I posted that featured you. Because she told me that she didn't get very far in the podcast because she didn't like how much you cussed.
Oh man, yeah, I can definitely fucking see that. Like,
Yeah,
it's a weird thing for me. Like, I feel like I'm kind of like, we're so close to having a family-friendly product with you two here, other than to talk about penises. But and then I'm coming and I'm like, "Hey guys, fuck, fuckity, fuck."
The thing is that sometimes I wish I kind of spoke like that just because freaking well, because sometimes it would help, but then
Sometimes it would help, yeah. That's what cuss words are for. They help your grammar. Yeah, it's like when we record stuff, I'll happily kind of turn off my filter to a degree, just for entertainment's sake. But for the most part, I try to maintain that low profile, no cussing, very PG type of thing.
the thing is that I have a little, but I could say a lot of freaking bad words right now. Thing is, I choose not to because like most of them are freaking like they're not racist or anything, but they are probably considered worse than the freaking F word, and I try to hold the F word as a line that I don't cross.
Yeah.
I feel like doing the podcast is actually making me worse for cussing. Because I never said motherfucker before the podcast, but now it's made it kind of a regular one for me.
Yeah, now it's every second word.
Yeah, well, not quite every second, but
every
still.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every third word. That's a little bit more impressive. That's a little bit more proper.
We're not too terrible. There are plenty of other YouTube channels that are far worse, trust me.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? At least we don't come on and spend the entire podcast talking about incestual necrophilia. You know?
Oh, wouldn't that be a treat?
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite metal band.
You need to change. You need to translate it to Swedish, and then you'll be right.
What was I going to say? Yeah, like Pink. Well, I haven't actually crossed yet, but there are times when I just want to freaking drop an F-bomb so hard.
Oh.
No, and it's not because I'm angry at the game or whatever. It's just because I fight so hard for a kill, and when I actually get it, it's like finally you are dead. And sometimes words just aren't descriptive enough without crossing a line. So I just don't say anything.
Yeah. I think our Terraria playthrough was the first time that I ever made any baby maker jokes. And when I say baby maker, I'm talking about the penis, obviously.
Yeah.
But that just kind of lend itself because I accidentally made a freaking penis.
Yeah.
And also the very, very phallic worms flying out of the ground.
Yeah.
That is true.
Which is actually me stealing a joke from an old YouTuber that I think Pink and I have both watched in the past. And he's not so famous nowadays as he used to be, but I think he's still going. Sly Foxhound back in the day used to refer to the giant worms as flying penises.
Ah, yes.
I never watched Sly's Terraria playthrough.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch because back in the day that it was the creatures and Yogscast, I think, crossed over. And it was the funniest damn thing I've seen because they never crossed over again because Sly would not shut the fuck up. And the Yogscast could not get in a word edgewise because Sly was constantly talking.
Yep.
It's weird thinking about those guys and how they all imploded horribly.
Both of them, both teams.
Yogscast is still going. I think now they have issues because like Simon's got health problems and things, but they aren't exactly the blockbusters they used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah. It had been a very decent while since I've ever heard their name, actually, because this is like the first I've heard Yogscast said in like years.
Yeah.
It's like I remember they used to be very big on the scene, and it's like kind of just disappeared for me.
Well,
I never followed them, so I never had a problem.
Yeah, they kind of disappeared for everybody.
But yeah, to close what Pink and I did last week with Smite, we had this epic match that went 41 minutes.
Yeah,
In
I saw
Clash.
that you posted our little match stat thing on the
Yeah,
forum.
I did.
It's like 41 minutes. It's like that was the round where I was experimenting with Ratatosker.
Oh, was that the one where you posted it and you had like 20 kills and 20 deaths or something nuts?
No, let me
Addy,
actually check it.
I'm pretty sure Addy like had a monstrous kill count and a very low death count, but me, I was like
I think
1 and 1.
Yeah, I think you had like a KD ratio of 1.
Yeah.
Pink had 15 kills and 16 deaths, 31 assists.
Yeah, so like a 0.95 kill KD
Yeah.
ratio.
He also healed 1200.
Ratatosk, the medic.
Yeah, and then I was Kuzembo, worst character in the game. I went 9 kills, 6 deaths, 39 assists with 3000 or 3100 healing. I was the best healer in the game. Like the other team had freaking Baron Samedi, a healer. He healed 1600.
It's my favorite thing playing as Guardians and at the end of the match, seeing that your assist count matches the total team kill count.
Yeah, and I just love Kuzembo. He's such a shit with his freaking one, just throwing his children around. Like, here, have a child, and then just throw it on their face.
Doesn't he get a charge that's like the opposite of Kepri's?
Yes, he does, but it's also faster than Capri's.
Yeah.
And if you hit people into minions or other people, both the people get damaged.
Right, and can't you like grab people and press them up against the wall with it too?
I think you can.
That must be really good in Assault, because the lane in Assault is so narrow.
I don't know. I have yet to be freaking Kuzembo in Assault.
It's like,
But-
oh man, if only you could choose your characters in Assault.
There always is Infinite Assault. Imagine 5 Kuzembos. That's a team of 10.
The Kuzenbos just push the entire team back into their Titan.
Yeah, they push the Titan out of existence.
Push him straight off the edge of reality.
Yeah, just take the stupid Patrick picture from SpongeBob. What if we took the Titan and moved it away? Yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying being the Ninja Turtle because even though he's a guardian and I try to play him like a guardian, I can still be a freaking asshole and steal kills without actually leaving because I can just send my kid out like, okay, take this kill for me.
Yeah. Were you Kuzumbo when that one time when I was Kali and I was about to secure the kill to reset my health, but then you
Yeah,
stole
I
it
think
last
so.
minute and I only
I do think
scored
so,
like
yes.
25%. You threw your stupid baby turtle at my kill.
Yeah.
Robbed me of my life.
What was I going to say?
There's
All right.
lots of characters with good lifesteal that when you're playing them and then you hear Thanatos go into the sky and it's your team's Thanatos and you're just like, fuck. Come
no,
on,
this
man.
is mine. Fly somewhere else.
Sometime we'll need to make a
Just
team.
fly
We'll
back
just
to
need,
spawn. I don't need you.
yeah. Sometime we'll need to make a team of just flying characters. Just freaking Fafnir, Nuwa. Was it Nuwa? No, it's Nuwa. What's
Nuwa
her
can
name?
fly.
Jingwei. Jingwei.
Yeah.
Nuwa can fly as well, though. They both can fly.
All right, then Nuwa as well. Thanatos, Akwang. Who else is there? Freaking Chernobog.
Thor.
Right, Thor.
The bat dude, what's his name? The bat assassin. Somebody help me here.
Kemazots, yeah.
Kemazaltz, yeah. Apollo, he can fly as well. Freya can fly, can't she?
Yes.
No
yes,
idea.
You can.
Yes, she can, right. She gets that thing where she enters a special mode where she flies through the air and can shoot lasers down
yeah.
at people. Yeah.
Yep.
But like, imagine five characters who can fly just in the ground to harass just single people on the other team.
And you know what? Everyone on the team turns on their mics and just plays "Fly to the Valkyries" into their mics.
Yeah,
That'd be perfect.
everybody's actually just Freya.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds like it about wraps up what we've done in the past week.
Yeah. I think I freaking Shadowrun.
You did.
Right.
I did see on Steam that you launched Shadowrun. I did see that.
Yeah.
How was it?
I made a Street Samurai because why the hell? What the freaking hell else would I make?
Yeah, I was about to
Why
say,
do you
isn't
always
that?
make samurai?
I was about to say, isn't that the only class in Shadowrun?
Technically not.
But that's what everyone
Technically.
plays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just become freaking John Wick with a knife or a gun. And yeah, the game that I got, by game I mean the story, that I got is titled like the Deathmatch Switch, I want to say. And where I am so far, it's about an old friend of yours dying and then sending you a video message basically saying that they died and that if you want the money that they left you, that you need to kill their killer, who happens to be Modern Jack the Ripper.
I was about to say the biggest badass in the city. Yeah. He just so happens to be.
So far where I am, I'm helping
How
people
did they
out of
plan far enough ahead to know that they were going to get killed, that they have to promise you money to find their killer?
I feel like that's a
Deus Ex
detail.
Machina.
I was about to say, I feel like that's a detail that comes later in the story. That seems like the kind of thing that doesn't get answered until the late game, where it's like, oh, they never died, they were just doing this to mess with you, or oh, they're planning to commit suicide, or something like that, you know?
So far where I am in the story, I'm trying to help people from out of a freaking warehouse, basically, so that they might help me find the Ripper, because wouldn't you know, right under the bloody place, there's a runner meetup thing. there's a base of a different kind right under it.
Right, because you can't just have a Fallout's the only quest that is the only game that's allowed to have quests that don't involve shooting things. Every other RPG has to be like, no, they have to shoot things at some point.
Yeah. So, I mean, so far I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I don't necessarily like the isometric view, but
Oh my god, is it an isometric turn-based strategy?
yes.
Okay, so it's like one of the old D&D Baldur's Gate type games then.
Yes.
There we go. Knew there had to be
But
something like that in there.
But yeah, as I said, I'm enjoying it. I can see how they turned the tabletop RPG into a game, more or less. You know, for someone who actually never played Shadowrun, it seems like I can sort of tell where everything would go. But look forward to actually finishing the story. And I think how they did it is that because there's workshop integration, if anybody converted any other stories that were made for it, then you can play those as well. The only thing is that most people don't actually convert other stories, they just freaking re-release Dead Man's Switch.
Maybe. I know a lot of people love Shadowrun, and wasn't there supposed to be a Shadowrun game that was supposed to come out soon, and it just got canceled?
No idea.
I feel like it did. It got announced around the same time as Cyberpunk 2077, and 2 or 3 years ago it got canceled. I feel like it is that case because I feel like I always remember getting them confused. I can never tell them apart.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind actually having more tabletop RPG games, but then, well, more tabletop RPG games that are like this, where they are actually more just a way to me, or just a means to actually play the tabletop RPG.
I wish there was an easy way to make it work like that.
I mean, technically, there's that one game that's literally just a tabletop.
Yes, Tabletop Simulator. That was on sale
Yeah.
during the Steam sale. I considered picking it up, but I ultimately realized the only person I have a chance to play it with is Soon, and I don't see Soon being too wholly into it. But is that about it?
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a podcast, folks. I suppose we will see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, just goodbye.
Yeah.